Hello, friends. The big question that we want to tackle today is, can the ancient wisdom make you a better leader in 2026? In this video, we dive deep into Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, verse 8, to uncover the secret of equanimity for modern executives, which is very essential. We will discover why the most successful CEOs aren't just masters of the market, they are the master of their own mind. Let us explore this further.
Hello, friends. You're most welcome. Namaskaram. Is India on the verge of AI led transformation with Reliance Industries leading the charge? In this video, we break down Mukesh Ambani's massive AI gambit from 2026 annual general body meeting and explore how Reliance is pivoting to become the sovereign backbone of Indian digital economy. From unveiling of Reliance Intelligence to the ambitious build out of a massive AI data center in Jamnagar powered by Nvidia, the latest hardware Ambani is being very big, betting very big, and we analyze 110 plus billion investment roadmap, the integration of AI directly into the geo network, and why Reliance is aiming to make AI for India by India a reality for 1.5 billion people. Let's go. We've all seen the news, but have we truly grasped the scale? The Reliance industry, a titan built on oil, petrochem, and retail, is making a decisive pivot. They are transitioning from telecom giant into a AI first, a group. This isn't just an upgrade; it's a aggressive, calculated AI gambit to become the sovereign backbone of India's digital economy. The question isn't whether they will do it. The question is, are they about to own the future of India's digital landscape? Today, we are deconstructing the strategy, the infrastructure, and the massive shift in the chessboard of Indian technology. Let's dive in. But before that, friends, if you have reached so far, let us know from which city you have tuned in into this particular video. All right, let's move ahead. Let's start with a pivot. For years, Geo was about connectivity. It brought the internet to the masses, democratizing access to data. But connectivity is just a commodity. Once everyone is connected, where do you go from there? You go intelligent. Reliance currently, looking at the strategy about embedding AI into the very DNA of the network. They aren't just selling data plans anymore. They are looking to sell the utility of artificial intelligence. Think of it as a shift from electricity, where you just have the power, to smart grid that knows how to optimize your own load. By integrating AI directly into the ecosystem from Jio Bharat platform to their retail arm, they are creating a closed loop system. When you use their network, you are training their models. And when you use their models, you are staying within their network. This is a definition of the digital moat. They are moving the battlefield from the speed of your internet to the capability of AI tools you interact with every single day. If the AI is the engine, data is the fuel, and Reliance has realized something critical. You cannot rely on foreign cloud if you want to rule the Indian market. You need to become sovereign. You need to think sovereignty. And this is why the Jamnagar infrastructure plays a so significant role. We aren't talking about small server farm. We're talking about massive data centers built to house high performance computing hardware that can process AI models at very high scale. By building this sovereign AI backbone, they achieve two things. One, lower latency. Keeping the data local means faster response for the end user. Number two, data sovereignty. In a world where data privacy is the new gold, Reliance is positioning itself as a trusted custodian of Indian digital information. They are effectively building a national AI cloud. And for an enterprise to have the capital and the land to build this at a scale of a country rather than a company is a structural advantage that hard for competitors to match. And here is where the gambit becomes brilliant. Much of the global AI development happens in English for an English speaking audience. Reliance strategy is AI for India by focusing on multilingual models supporting the 22 major languages. They are unlocking the next billion users who were previously excluded from the AI revolution. This is the democratization of intelligence. Imagine a small business owner in a tier 2 city using a voice activated AI built by Reliance that handles their inventory, their accounting, and their customer queries all in their local dialect. This is not just the feature, it is an economic transformation. By lowering the barrier to entry, Reliance isn't just chasing high end, high tech market, they are capturing the entire pyramid of the Indian economy. Now, is this a guaranteed win? No. A gambit, by definition, involves sacrificing a piece to gain a dominant position. And the risks are real. What are the risks? Number one is regulatory scrutiny. As a company becomes the gatekeeper of country's digital infrastructure, regulator naturally start asking questions about the competition and their liability. Number two is execution speed. AI moves at light speed. Can a massive group maintain the agility of a startup? Number three, the competitors. We cannot forget that the global tech giants are also looking at India and they want to set up big firms in India as well. Reliance is betting that their distribution network, the fact that they are already on your phone, your stores, and your homes, is the ultimate trump card. They aren't just selling technology, they are selling the ecosystem. And in the digital age, ecosystems are how you win. To wrap up, the Ambani AI gambit is the most significant corporate shift we have seen in this decade. It's a transition from being a service provider to becoming an architect of our digital reality. Whether this lead to a new era of prosperity or a concentration of power is something we will have to watch closely. And strategy isn't about what you do today, it's about anticipating the world of tomorrow. It seems that tomorrow is being written in code right here in India. I am Chandrakant, and if you found this breakdown valuable, hit the subscribe button, join our community. We are here to decode the shifts that matter. Until next time, friends, keep thinking strategically, and I will see you very soon in the next one.
Hello, friends. The big question that we want to tackle today is, can the ancient wisdom make you a better leader in 2026? In this video, we dive deep into Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, verse 8, to uncover the secret of equanimity for modern executives, which is very, very essential. We will discover why the most successful CEOs aren't just masters of the market, they are the master of their own mind. Let us explore this further.
In the world of high stake business, we are taught to chase the gold. We celebrate the record breaking IPOs, the quarterly wins, and the market dominance. On the flip side, we are taught to fear the mud, the PR crisis, the missed targets, and the economic downturns. But as a CEO, and all CEO knows this constant oscillation between euphoria and anxiety is quite exhausting. It leads to burnout, biased decision making, and the leadership style that is reactive rather than strategic. What if there is a way to lead from the place of total stability, a state of mind where your internal peace isn't tied to the stock ticker? Over 7,000 years ago, a profound piece of wisdom was shared on a battlefield that is more relevant to the modern boardroom than any MBA syllabus. It comes from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, verse 8. Today we are going to dive deep and break down how this one verse can transform you into a unshakable CEO. So friends, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Alright, let's proceed further. Let us look at the verse itself. The quote starts, "A person is said to be established in self-realization and it's called a yogi when he is fully satisfied by the virtue of the acquired knowledge and realization. Such a person is situated in transcendence and is self-controlled. He sees everything, whether it is pebbles, stone, or gold, as one and the same thing." Quote close. For a CEO, this doesn't mean you stop caring about your company. It means you change your relationship with the results. The verse identify three key areas, three key traits of the unshakable leaders. First, acquired knowledge combined with practical experience. Obviously, you can't shake that off. Number two, control over the senses, which includes your ego as well, and also different kinds of extensions that you may have. Number three, ability to see stones and mud and gold with an equal eye, right? That is quite difficult. Now let's get real about the gold and mud. Just look at your office. The gold is that massive Series C funding or being featured on the cover of Forbes magazine. When things are gold, your ego expands. We think we have figured it out, all of it. We become overconfident, take reckless risk, and lose the humility that built the company in the first place. The mud is the supply chain collapse, the key executive quitting, or the negative cycle, some sort of a press release which is negative in nature. When we hit the mud, we panic. We make short-term decisions based on fear, which often makes the situation worse. The Gita tells us that the self-realized leader sees these as equal. Why? Because they are both external and temporary. If your happiness is tied to the gold, you are a slave to the market. If your identity is destroyed by the mud, you aren't leading, you are merely reacting. The unshakable CEO realizes that the value of the soul and the integrity of the mission do not change based on the material outcome of the day. How do we actually implement this? It comes down to three pillars. Pillar number one, knowledge versus realization. Most CEOs have the gyan, which is book knowledge. They know the spreadsheet, but the Gita tells you to get into realized wisdom. This is the gut feeling backed by a calm mind. It is knowing that this too shall pass, right? So what action you can take? When the crisis hit, don't just look at the data. Sit in silence for 5 minutes to separate your identity from the problem. Alright, moving on to the pillar number 2. Sensory mastery. In modern terms, this is the emotional intelligence. Your senses react to notification, angry emails, and market rumors. A leader, who has a filter, they can choose which input to react to. They don't let a bad morning meeting ruin $1 billion afternoon strategy, right? You need to keep them separate. Moving on to pillar number 3, the equal vision. This is the hardest part. Seeing gold and stones as equal doesn't mean you trade gold for stones. It means you don't let the gold intoxicate you and you don't let the stones depress you. You remain your behavior is very steadfast like a rock, the unchanging center of the storm. When you become unshakable, your decisions, making capability improves. In fact, it improves so good it becomes clinical in nature. Think of a surgeon. A surgeon cannot afford to be excited by the patient's wealth or disgusted by their wounds. They must see their anatomy as it is to perform the operation. The unshakable CEO performs market surgery because you aren't desperate for the gold or terrified of the mud. You see the truth of the situation. You see opportunities where others see disaster. You see risk where others see easy wins. This objectivity is the highest form of business intelligence. Becoming an unshakable CEO isn't the weekend workshop. It's a daily practice of returning to your center. So, friends, next time when you are in a high pressure meeting, or the next time you are in celebrating some sort of a win, a massive win, remember chapter 6, verse 8. Ask yourself, am I reacting to the gold or am I standing on the rock? Success is a byproduct of the steady mind. Build the mind and the business will follow. If this ancient perspective on the modern leadership resonate with you, hit the subscribe button, share this with your fellow leaders who need to find their center today. Lead with wisdom, lead with peace, become an unshakable CEO. So we have come to the end of our session today. Before I move on to the next section, a word about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with two microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video.
Hello friends, welcome to Akulmach Live. The global economy is at the crossroads. In this video, we break down why the next 72 hours are the most critical window for 2026 for investors, for business leaders, and also for the policymakers. With the outbreak of conflict in the Middle East and the recent IMF World Economic Outlook warning of a drop in the global growth rate to 3.1%, and therefore the stakes has never been so high. So what we got to do, what we should be aware of, stick around because we are going to discuss all of this.
Right now, as you're watching this, a timer is ticking. It isn't just a countdown for a market opening or a single earning report. We're entering a 72-hour window that historians may look back on as the definitive pivot point for the global economy in 2026. So why now? Because we are seeing a perfect storm and it is converging. We have a volatile conflict in the Middle East that is threatening the world's most vital energy arteries. We have an IMF that just sounded the alarm on the growth slowdown, and within the next 3 days, we expect the decisions that will determine if we face a controlled landing or a systemic fracture. By the time this 72-hour window closes, the cost of your energy, value of your currency, and the safety of your investment could look radically different. And here is exactly what is happening behind the scenes. So friends, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Alright, let's move ahead. The first pillar of this 72-hour crisis is the energy. As of today, which is April 22nd, 2026, the volatility in the Middle East has moved past rhetoric. Markets are currently pricing in a worst-case disruption scenario. If the next 3 days sees an escalation that impact the Strait of Hormuz, we aren't just looking at $100 per barrel oil. We are looking at the supply side shock that could paralyze the European and Asian manufacturing. But it's not just about pricing at the pump. It's about the inflation ghost. Just as the central bank thought they had a handle on the rising price, the energy spike threatened to send the projected 2026 inflation rate of 4.4% or even higher. In this next 72 hours, look for the energy pivot. If the prices break past key resistance level, the global manufacturing sector will go into a defensive mode, and that means layoff and stalled growth. While the headline focus on the conflict, the underlying math is equally terrifying. Last week, the IMF released the World Economic Outlook. The headline was grim. The global growth is projected to fall to 3.1%. Imagine, only 3.1%. But the real story is in the next 72 hours of the diplomatic response. Financial leaders are currently meeting to decide if they will coordinate a liquidity injection or if it's if every nation for itself. We are seeing a massive divergence. While some economies are showing resilience, others, particularly in the developing world, are facing a debt wall. If we don't see a collaborative signal from the G7 or the IMF in these 3-day window, we could see a flight to quality that strip emerging markets of their remaining capital. This is the great repricing of 2026, and it is happening in real time as we speak. When the world gets scared, money moves fast. In the next 72 hours, we are watching the 3 safe havens, which is gold, US dollars, and increasingly digital assets. Gold has already been hitting the record high, but the next 3 days will test its ceiling. If we see a breakout, it's a signal that the big institutional players have lost faith in a quick diplomatic resolution. Simultaneously, the US dollar is weaponizing itself again. As the dollar strengthens, it puts immense pressure on every other currency for businesses in London, Tokyo, or New Delhi. A 72-hour surge in the dollar market, makes their imports more expensive and their debt harder to pay. Watch the currency pairs closely. The tipping point is usually a 3-day trend that becomes month-long slide. So, what does this mean for people like you and me? The next 72 hours aren't about panic; they are about positioning. If you are an investor, watch the $100 oil per barrel mark and the 10-year treasury yield. If you are a business owner, look at your supply chain exposure in the Middle East. And if you are just watching your personal finances, understand that the low inflation era we hoped for is being challenged by these 72 hours of geopolitical reality. The world moves fast, but the economy moves in cycles. We are at the end of one cycle and the beginning of another. We'll be monitoring every headline, every market tick, and every diplomatic cable as they come in. Make sure you subscribe in a window. This is very critical. Being 24-hour late is the same being absolutely wrong. So stay vigilant. The clock is running, and I'll see you in the next update, my friends. Before I wind up, a word about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with two microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters, and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video.
Friends, the universe isn't just expanding, it is going somewhere. From the mysterious great attractor to the inevitable big freeze, where everything actually heading? That's a very big question that we want to address today. In this video, we trace the ultimate trajectory of every star, galaxy, and atom in existence. Have you ever wondered about the final destination of the cosmos while we go about our daily lives? Our Milky Way galaxy is screaming through space at 2.2 million kilometers per hour. But where it is going, what is pulling it? Let us discuss this further.
On a clear night, the universe looks like a photograph, frozen, eternal. But the truth is, we are living inside a cosmic stampede. Right now, you are sitting on a planet that is spinning at 1600 kilometers per hour. The planet is orbiting a star at 107,000 kilometers per hour. The star is dragging us around the center of the Milky Way at 800,000 kilometers per hour, but even the galaxy itself isn't sitting still. Our entire island universe is screaming through the void towards a destination we cannot see, and the overall speed at which we are moving right now is 2.2 million kilometers per hour. Everything, every star, every black hole, every atom is on a journey, but where is it actually going? Is there a finish line? Or is the universe just running away from itself? Today, we are tracing the ultimate trajectory of the cosmos from the great attractor to big freeze. We are looking at the final map of the existence itself. So friends, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Alright, let's proceed further. To understand where we are going, we have to look at our neighborhood. We live in a Lanakia supercluster, a massive web of 100,000 galaxies spanning 500 million light years. For decades, the astronomer noticed something strange. The Milky Way and our neighboring galaxies aren't just drifting, they are being pulled. We are moving towards a specific region of space hidden behind the zone of avoidance, an area obscured by our own galaxy's dust, and therefore we actually cannot see clearly what is where we are going and what is pulling our galaxies. We call this mystery the great attractor. It's the gravitational anomaly so massive it is warping the movement of the galaxies across hundreds of millions of light years. It's like cosmic drain, and we are the water circling it. But here is the twist. We will likely never arrive at that point. Why? Because while gravity is trying to pull us together, something else is trying to rip us apart. In the late 1990s, we discovered the universe isn't just expanding, it is accelerating. This is thanks to the dark energy, a mysterious force that makes up roughly about 68% of the universe. Think of it like this. Gravity is the glue trying to hold the room together, but the dark energy is the floor constantly stretching in every direction. Because space is expanding faster than the speed of light at great distances, the great attractor is actually losing the tug of war. Eventually, the expansion will become so fast that even the pull of the Lanakia won't be enough to hold us into this particular group. We are entering an era of the great divorce. In few billion years, every galaxy outside our local group will disappear beyond the cosmic horizon. They will be moving away so fast that their light will never reach us again. We will be left in a lonely, dark neighborhood. So if we aren't hitting the great attractor, what is our immediate destination then in that case? So in about 4.5 billion years, our own galaxy has a date with destiny. The Andromeda galaxy is currently heading straight for us at 110 kilometers per second, very high speed. This isn't a crash, it's a dance. The two galaxies will pass through each other, their stars rarely colliding because the space is so empty. Gravity will eventually pull them back together, merging them into a single massive elliptical galaxy dubbed as Milkomeda. By the time this happens, our sun will have become a red giant, likely swallowing the Earth. The solar system as we know it will be done, but the atoms that made up our body will be part of the brand new giant star system. But where does the journey finally end? If the expansion continues forever, we reach the ultimate destination, the big freeze, also known as the heat death of the universe. As the space stretches, the gas needed to create stars become too thin. One by one, the light of the universe goes out. The stelliferous era ends, which is known for star formation, and therefore the stars will stop forming. And the degenerate era will begin. Only white dwarf, neutron stars, and black hole will remain. The black hole era will be the third one when black holes eventually evaporate through Hawking radiation. So, what is left? A universe at a uniform temperature of nearly absolute zero, no energy, no movement, no time. Everything that was once a planet, a person, or a galaxy will be reduced to thin mist of photons and electrons drifting in an infinite cold dark. It sounds bleak, but look at in another way. We are living in the golden age of the universe, a brief, brilliant window where the stars are close enough to see and the galaxies are close enough to touch. Everything is moving away, yes, but that makes the fact that we are here right now witnessing it, and all the more miraculous things are going to happen in the near future. We might not like where the universe is going, but we can only imagine what a view we have on the way there, right? So friends, thanks for watching, and if you want to keep exploring the edge of the cosmos, subscribe and join for the next journey. Until next time, before we wind up today's session, a word about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with two microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video. Well, stop imagining. On April 20th, 2026, the media landscape shifted on its axis. Warner Brothers Discovery shareholder officially voted to approve a massive $110 billion merger with Paramount Skydance. It is a deal that essentially kills the streaming war, as we know them from the last decade. We aren't just looking at another merger, we are looking at the birth of media titans specifically designed to survive the wreckage of the peak TV era. But this wasn't a smooth ride. It involved a hostile bid, a rejected offer from Netflix, and a shareholder revolt over executive payouts that would make Roman Emperor blush. Today we are breaking down the WBD Paramount power play. What happens to the Max and Paramount Plus? Why does the shareholder reject David Zaslav's massive bonus? And most importantly, how does this affect your subscription bill? So friends, if you have reached this far, please let us know from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Now let's talk money. Paramount Skydance, led by David Allison, is acquiring 100% of the Warner Brothers Discovery. The price tag, what is this price tag? It is $31 per share in cash. When you factor this WBD significant debt, the total enterprise value hit a staggering $111 billion. This wasn't WBD's first choice. Earlier this year, Netflix actually tried to swoop in 72 billion bid for just the studio and the streaming assets. But Paramount went for the all or nothing strategy. They didn't just want the movies, they wanted the cable network, the news, and the sports. By February 27th, Netflix blinked. They cited capital discipline and walked away. Paramount, backed by Allison family, which is, of course, you know Allison, right? The Larry Ellison family. Larry Ellison is the founder of Oracle, also very famous entrepreneur, globally known. And Redbird Capital. They both stepped up with the cash. WBD shareholders are now overwhelmingly given their blessings with 1.7 billion votes in favor. However, the deal isn't closed yet. It's expected to finalize in Q3 of 2026, pending some very intense regulatory scrutiny. So what does this mean? It's all about synergy. The goal here is to create a next generation media company. Think about the intellectual property, which is IP library, they now control together as one entity. We're talking about DC Universe meeting Mission Impossible, right? The Game of Thrones alongside Star Trek, SpongeBob SquarePants, Sesame Street under one banner. But the biggest change for us as a consumer, the super streamer, managed managed by the combined entity, and the people who are going to manage this whole thing have already hinted that Max and Paramount Plus will eventually merge into a single platform. For the companies, this saves billions, specifically 6 billion annually by this change. Alright, so they no longer have to pay for the two separate tech stacks, two marketing departments, or two set of overhead. For the viewer, it means one app to rule, to view all of them, to rule all of them. But it also means less competition, which historically lead to, you guessed it, price hike. So if there is no competition, they have consolidated the market. They are free to put any price tag, whatever they want, right? There is no pressure from the market. So if there is one thing that keeps the lights on the old media, it's the live sports. And this merger creates an absolute juggernaut. Combined, WBD and Paramount now holds the right to the NFL via CBS, NCAA March Madness, NHL and MLB championship leagues, the Olympic internationally, and the PGA tours and UFC. In a world where Amazon and Apple are trying to buy their way into sports, this combined entity becomes the must-have partner for every major league. They have the broadcast reach of CBS for the big games and streaming flexibility of Max for everything else. This is their shield against Netflix, which has only recently started dipping its toes into live events. Now, let's get to the spicy part. While the shareholder loved the deal, they hate the exit packages. WBD CEO David Zaslav, a man often criticized for his aggressive cost-cutting and vaulting of completed films, was lined up for a golden parachute worth $850 million as an exit for himself. At the special meeting on April 23rd, shareholders voted forcefully against these executive payouts. 1.4 billion votes were casted against the compensation packages. Now, here is the kicker. The vote is non-binding. Technically, board can still pay him, but the message is clear. Hollywood creators and investors alike are tired of seeing massive executive bonuses while the industry suffers through layoffs and budget cuts. Even Hollywood legends like Denis Villeneuve and David Fincher signed an open letter opposing the consolidation, fearing it will lead to fewer choices and less creative freedom. So, is the deal done? Not quite. The US Department of Justice and the UK regulatory bodies are currently looking at this with a magnifying glass. Senators like Elizabeth Warren have already called it an antitrust disaster that threatens to raise prices for American families. If the deal doesn't close by September 30th, a ticking fee, kick in Paramount will have to pay WBD shareholders an extra 25 cents per share every quarter. It's a massive incentive to get across the finish line fast. The streaming war started as a race to see who could spend most money to get the most subscribers. This merger proves that the race is over. The new game is now known as survival. By joining forces, WBD and Paramount aren't trying to win the war, they're trying to make sure they are the last ones standing. So, what do you think, friends? Is this a super streamer you have been waiting for? Or are we just watching the slow death of a variety in Hollywood? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay updated on the most massive media mergers of our lifetime. And I will see you again in the next one. Before I go, a word about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with two microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video. Hello friends and namaskar. Is your business strategy built on a foundation of sand? Like a sand castle? I'm sure everybody gets this kind of a feeling and there are no straightforward answers. Therefore, in this video, we dive into a powerful and sobering lessons from Bhagavad Gita and apply its ancient wisdom to the high-stake world of modern leadership. Many CEOs and entrepreneurs fall into the trap of hollow hustle, achieving massive metrics, scaling operations, and they acquire vast knowledge only to find that their efforts feel empty or ultimately fail. Let's go forward and discuss this further. We've all seen it. The CEOs who have everything, the corner office, the soaring stock price, a strategy that looks flawless on a PowerPoint deck. They are brilliant, driven, and possess a wealth of technical knowledge, technical know how. But then it happens. Despite the perfect plans, the culture rot from within. The strategy lead to a moral or financial dead end. The growth wasn't sustainable because it wasn't grounded in anything real. In the corporate world, we call this a strategic failure. But 7,000 years ago, the Bhagavad Gita called it something else. It called it a spell. Today we are looking at chapter 9, verse 12 of Gita. This isn't just a religious text, it's a psychological mirror for every leader who has ever wondered why their hard work felt like total waste. So friends, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Alright, let's proceed further. Let's look at the verse, and the quote starts. They came under the spell of the material energy, embracing demonic and atheistic belief. Alas, all their hopes for liberation, their fruitive actions, and their knowledge are a total waste. Quote close. To a modern CEO, words like demonic or spell might sound out of place, but let's translate them into business language and let's give it a business context. The spell is what we call a confirmation bias or a corporate myopia. It is when you are mesmerized by a short-term matrix and material energy, which is the profit, the clout, and the vanity matrix that you lose, and therefore you lose sight of reality. Demonic and atheistic beliefs in a business context isn't about theology. It's the belief that you are the sole creator of your success, that ethics are hurdle to be cleared, and that people are just resources to be used. So Bhagavad Gita warns that when a leader operates from this place, three specific things become a total waste. Every CEO, every CEO has a hope for liberation. In business, this is your exit strategy. It's the IPO, the acquisition, the freedom you think you will find once you hit a certain valuation. But verse 12 says these hopes are waste if they are built on demonic foundation. Why? Because if your strategy is driven by ego rather than purpose, you never actually become free. You become a slave to the next quarter, the next competitor, and the next ego-driven goal. You aren't leading a company. You are running a treadmill that has no off switch. Next, Gita mentions fruitive action. This is the heart of every business. The execution, the marketing campaign, the R&D, and the pivots. We have seen CEOs execute brilliant fruitive actions that lead to disasters. Think of massive corporate scandals of the last decade. Those leaders were smart. Their actions produce fruits, which is, in other words, money. And therefore, this is all short terms. But because those actions embrace atheistic belief, meaning they ignored the universal laws of integrity and service, the fruits was poisonous. The result? Total waste, lawsuits, bankruptcy, and destroyed reputation. This is the most painful part for a leader. The Gita says your knowledge is a total waste. You might have an MBA from Harvard. You might know every trend in the AI and fintech, but if that knowledge is used merely to serve the material spell, to manipulate market or exploit people, it becomes completely useless. True knowledge, according to Gita, should lead to, sort of realized wisdom. Without a moral compass, your data and your insights are just tools for your own downfall. So how does a CEO avoid the dead end? The solution isn't stop being ambitious. It's to change the source of your ambition. Break the spell. There are a few things, starting with breaking the spell. Audit your motivations. Are you doing this for the material energy, which is ego slash status, or for the dharma, which is purpose and duty? So you must ask this question. Second, reject the demonic models. Stop seeing your business as a machine and start seeing it as an ecosystem that must add value to the world. Third, validate your knowledge. You must ensure your strategy passes the integrity test. If your plan requires you to abandon your value to succeed, the Gita tells you right now it will be a total waste. Lead with purpose, and your actions will finally bear fruit that lasts longer. So, friends, what do you think about this? Thanks for watching. If this ancient perspective or on the modern leadership resonate with you, hit the subscribe button, share this video with leaders who need to hear this, and I will take your leave today, only to catch you again in the next one. Before I go, a word about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters, and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video.
In the vast orchestra of human brain, not every instrument plays with equal resilience. Some neuron hum steadily through life's symphony, while other trembles at the faintest discord. The multiple sclerosis, long seen as a sweeping storm against the nervous system, is now revealed to the strike with a selective fury, targeting the most fragile player in this ensemble. New research uncovered that the certain brain cells stretched thin by their energy demand and delicate architectures are far more vulnerable to the disease relentless assault. And this discovery reframes MS as a uniform battle, but as a war fought on unseen terrain where the weakest link determine the fate of the whole. So let's find out more. Multiple sclerosis, MS, has been understood as a disease of the immune system gone awry, stripping away the protective myelin sheath that insulate the nerve fiber. Yet, despite the decades of research, one question has lingered. Why do certain regions of the brain and the spinal cord suffers more damage than the others? Recent findings have begun to illuminate this mystery, revealing that not all brain cells are equal in their vulnerability. Some neurons, by virtue of their structure, function, or metabolic demands, appear to be more immune to kind of destructive cascade of MS than others. The study in question used advanced imaging and molecular profiling to map the landscape of neuronal damage in MS patients. Researchers discovered that the specific populations of neurons, particularly those involved in long range communication across the brain, showed heightened sensitivity to the inflammatory attacks. And these cells, often with the extended axon stretching across multiple brain regions, requires enormous amount of energy to maintain the signaling. When the inflammation disrupts their metabolic balance, they flatter more quickly than the shorter, more localized neuron. And this vulnerability may explain why MS patients often experience symptoms tied to coordination, vision, or cognitions, and the very function that rely on these long, energy-hungry neutral pathways. So, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us to determine the reach of our channel. So, moving forward, another striking revelation was the role of oligodendrocytes, the cells responsible for producing myelin. Not all oligodendrocytes are created equal. Some subtypes appear more resilient, capable of remyelinating damaged axon, while the other succumb rapidly to the immune assault. The uneven distribution of these cell types across the brain may carry hotspot of vulnerability, regions where the damage accumulate faster and recover lag behind. So these cellular patchwork could amount for the unpredictable progression of MS. Where one patient experienced sudden vision loss while the other struggles with the motor control. The finding also highlight the importance of mitochondrial health. Neurons with weaker mitochondrial reserve and tiny powerhouses that fuel cellular activities were disproportionately affected. And in MS, inflammatory molecules can impair the mitochondrial functions, leading to energy shortage. For neurons already operating at the edge of their metabolic capacity, this shortage is catastrophic. And they lose the ability to transmit signals effectively or contributing to the neurological deficient that define the disease. So from the therapeutic perspective, these insights are profound. If certain neurons and oligodendrocytes are more vulnerable, treatment could be tailored to protect or bolster them specifically. For instance, the drug that enhance mitochondrial resilience or promote the survival of the remyelinating oligodendrocytes might slow disease progression. Similarly, the therapies that reduce the inflammatory burden on the long-range neuron could preserve the critical functions like memory and the motor coordinations. The research suggests a shift from the broad immunosuppression towards the precision strategies that safeguard the brain's most fragile components. So beyond the lab, these implications ripple into the living or lived experience of MS patients. Understanding why certain patients or why certain symptoms emerge and persist offers validation for those whose struggles have seen more profound, more implicable diseases, and the way they actually respond to the drugs. So it also opens opens the door to more personalized prognosis. The clinicians may one day predict which functions are most at risk in a given patient based on their cellular vulnerability profile. So, such a foresight could guide rehabilitation, lifestyle adjustments, and psychological support, making the journey with the MS less uncertain. The discovery that some brain cells are inherently more vulnerable reframes MS not just as an immune disorder but as a condition of cellular fragility. It underscores the delicate balance that sustains brain function and how easily it can be tipped by inflammation. And in doing so, it brings hope that by identifying and protecting the brain's weak link, science may one day transform MS from a relentless disease into a manageable condition. So, in the end, what these discoveries reveal is not just the fragility of certain neurons, but the resilience of science itself. By uncovering the weak link in the brain's vast network, researchers are charting a path towards precision therapies that protect the most vulnerable cells and multiple sclerosis, once seen as a uniform storm, now emerged as a selective battle, one that can be fought with a sharper insight and targeted care. The story of MS is no longer only about the loss. It is about the possibility of safeguarding the brain's delicate symphony and ensuring that even its quickest note continue to play. So now we have come to the end of this discussion. Look forward for your comments on this subject. Thanks for watching, and feel free to put your questions regarding today's content. Please subscribe our channel and see you in the next one. But before we end, few words from our affiliate partner.
Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video. Hello friends, welcome to this high-level executive briefing. We explore the profound leadership wisdom found in Bhagavad Gita. While the modern corporate culture often drives leaders towards external validation and endless doing within quotes, this ancient verse reveals that the most effective leadership comes from a state of internal being. The inside out executive breaks down how the concept of the yogi, one who is happy within and flooded with self enlightenment, translate directly to the modern C suite. Learn how to translate and transition from reactive management to proactive sovereignty. Let us explore this thought further. Welcome once again. We live in an era of the extreme leadership. We are taught that more we do, more we achieve. We track KPIs, market share, and quarterly growth. But there is a paradox at the top. Many executives have reached the pinnacle of the material success while they feel more hollow than when they started. Why is it that more we gain on the outside, the more we feel we are losing on the inside? Today we are looking for the answers in a 7,000-year-old text. We are exploring Bhagavad Gita chapter 5 verse 24. It offers a blueprint of what I call the inside out executive. Let's look at the verse itself, and Bhagwan Krishna says, and the quote starts, "A yogi is happy within. He sees God within himself. He is flooded with self-enlightenment. He attains the liberation from material existence and unite with the divine." And the quote close. So friends, if you have reached this far, please inform from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this live stream. This will help us determine our reach. Alright, let's proceed further. To the modern CEO, words like yogi or divine might feel distant. But let's translate this into a language of the leadership. A yogi is simply a person of the perfected discipline. Happy within himself means you are emotional, in your emotional state is no longer a hostage to the stock market or a boardroom meeting. Flooded with self-enlightenment is what we now call high-level intuition and clarity. This verse isn't about retiring to a cave. It's about becoming an unshakable in the boardroom. Most leaders are outside in. If the company performs, they are happy. If the media criticize them, they are miserable. Their internal world is a mirror of their external environment. The inside out executive flips the script. Verse 5.24 tells us that the source of joy must be internal. When you are happy within, you lead from a place of abundance rather than scarcity. You aren't making decisions because you are afraid of losing your status. You are making them because they are the right thing to do. This is where the self-enlightenment comes in. When the noise of ego and anxiety is silenced, you gain the quiet mind. In that quiet, you see the God within, or in professional terms, you access your highest intelligence. Now let's talk about the most provocative word in this verse, liberation. In the Gita, this is the moksha, which is freedom from cycle of birth and death. For an executive, this is freedom from the material grind. Think about it. How much of your stress comes from things you cannot control? The economy, the competition, the global supply chain. Liberation means you are no longer a slave to these outcomes. You perform your dharma, which is your duty, with 100% intensity, but your soul isn't crushed if the result fluctuate. Ironically, this detachment makes you more powerful. A leader who doesn't need a specific outcome to feel whole is the most dangerous person in a negotiation. You have nothing to lose because your fulfillment is already locked in internal space. So how do we apply this tomorrow morning, right? First, the morning audit. Before you check your emails, which is coming from outside, check your inside. Spend 5 minutes in silence. Find that internal happiness before the world try to give you its version of it. Alright? Number 2, intellectual detachment. During a crisis, ask yourself, is my happiness based on solving this, or is my happiness constant while I solve this? Right? Number 3 is lead by light. So verse 5.24 mentioned about flooded with light. Be the leader who brings clarity to the room, not heat. If you are enlightened within, you illuminate the path for everyone else. The verse ends by saying the yogi unite with the divine. In leadership, this is the union of the purpose and action. When your internal state matches your external impact, you aren't just working anymore, you are fulfilling your mission. So don't just lead a company, lead yourself first. Be the inside out executive. And friends, we have come to the end. Thanks for joining live. Thanks for your time. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to send it across. Before we end this section, a word about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video.
नमस्कार दोस्तों, आपका स्वागत है। और हर रोज की तरह हम भगवान की पूजा करके अपना दिन आरंभ करेंगे। आज शुक्रवार है, फ्राइडे, तो आज तो लक्ष्मी जी का पूजन बनता है। तो हम लक्ष्मी जी का एक मंत्र पढ़ेंगे, 11 दफा पढ़ेंगे और इस काउंटर का इस्तेमाल करेंगे। जैसे आप जानते हैं हमारे पास एक काउंटर है जिससे हम आसानी से नंबर निकाल सकते हैं। वैसे आप जैसा चाहे वैसा कर सकते हैं। आप माला का इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं। आप अपने मस्तिष्क में, अपने ब्रेन के अंदर भी गिन सकते हैं। तो जैसे आपको कंफर्टेबल हो आप करें। ये इस मंत्र का हम जाप करेंगे। आप हमारे साथ जुड़ें और इस मंत्र का जाप करें। चलिए हाथ जोड़ के हम लक्ष्मी जी का ध्यान करते हैं और अब मंत्र शुरू करते हैं। श्री ह्रीं क्लीं श्री सिद्धाय लक्ष्मी नमः। ओम श्री ह्रीं क्लीं श्री सिद्धाय लक्ष्मी नमः। ओम श्री ह्रीं क्लीं श्री सिद्धाय लक्ष्मी नमः। ओम ह्रीं श्रीं क्लीं सिद्धाय लक्ष्मी नमः। ओम ह्रीं श्रीं क्लीं श्री सिद्धाय लक्ष्मी नमः। ओम श्री ह्रीं 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 क्लीं श्री सिद्धाय लक्ष्मी नमः। ओम ह्रीं श्रीं क्लीं श्री सिद्धाय लक्ष्मी नमः। ओम श्री ह्रीं क्लीं श्री सिद्धाय लक्ष्मी नमः। ओम ह्रीं श्रीं श्री सिद्धाय लक्ष्मी नमः। तो ओम लक्ष्मी नमः, ओम लक्ष्मी नमः। तो हमारा ये मंत्र समाप्त हुआ और हम अब अपना दिन शुरू कर सकते हैं। तो आपका दिन भी शुभ रहे, मंगलमय रहे, इसी कामना के साथ इस वीडियो को बंद करते हैं। मिलते हैं जल्द ही दूसरे वीडियो में। कहीं मत जाइएगा।
Hello friends, you are most welcome. Namaskaram. In today's volatile market, CEOs are constantly looking for sustainable edge. While we obsess over metrics and ROI, the ancient wisdom offers a different perspective on growth and risk management. In order to address this issue, we will take help of Bhagavad Gita, and in this video we break down some of the learnings that can, tell us how to do better risk management. Let's go and discuss this further. Friends, you are a CEO. You live life by the key performance indicator. You look at the balance sheet, quarterly projections, and market share percentage. You are wired to believe that everything in business must have an immediate, measurable return on investment. If it doesn't scale, if it doesn't hit the bottom line today, you are told that it's a waste of time. But what if I told you that there is one specific investment, that is one strategy that defies the laws of quarterly accounting? What if I told you that in world of high frequency volatility, the most efficient thing you can do for your company is to commit to a path that seemingly doesn't offer a quick payout? So friends, if you have reached so far, please let us know from which city you have tuned in. Now let's move ahead. Today we are going to look at 5000-year-old business strategy from Bhagavad Gita. It's a verse that every CEO who is worried about longevity of their brand needs to, internalize. Following the path of dharma will never go waste, and that is where that is the first stanza of the verse. It will never hamper your progress, whereas even a little advancement will save you from many dangers. This is chapter 2, verse 40 of Bhagavad Gita. Now let us break it down. First, the word dharma. In business, especially in the business context, think of dharma not just as religion, but as your purpose or your right action. It is the alignment of your organization with its core values, its truth, and the responsibility to the ecosystem it operates in. The words make two massive claims. First, it will never go waste. Second, it saves you from many dangers. Let's look at why this is the ultimate competitive advantage. In business, we often view purpose or the ethics as a luxury. We think once I hit my revenue target, then I'll focus on the purpose. We treat it as an expense, something that sits in the charity budget, not the growth budget, etc. But the Gita argues the opposite. It says that the action taken in alignment with your true purpose never go waste. Think about compounding interest. When you start a business, your early efforts often yield zero visible results. You are pouring time, money, and soul into a product or a culture that hasn't taken off yet. But the traditional matrix, that is wasted time, but Dharma says no. So, as per the tradition, you will think, oh, it's completely gone case and time wasted and revenue loss. But Dharma says no. Every ethical decision, every moment of the integrity, every time you choose the right thing over the easy thing, you are building a brand equity that is invisible to your competitors. It is not wasted, it is compounding. When a crisis hit, that bank account of trust and purpose is exactly what keeps your company solvent. Now look at the second part of the verse. Even the little advancement will save you from many dangers. This is essentially the ancient definition of anti fragility. We spend millions on risk management, legal teams, and compliance. We try to build walls around our business to prevent disaster. But the Gita suggests that the most effective mitigation management strategy isn't a firewall, it is your purpose. When your company is grounded in a strong why, a deep sense of dharma, you become immune to the dangers that destroys other companies. What are those dangers? First, danger of being irrelevant. When your purpose is clear, you don't chase fads. You stay focused. That prevents you from burning out your resources on projects that don't matter. Number two is danger of culture decay. If your culture is built on easy money rather than purpose, it crumbles under pressure. But a purpose driven team, when they stay, they can stay steady through the storm. And lastly, the danger of ethical blindness. We've all seen the headlines. CEOs who lost everything because they ignored the small ethical corner they cut. The verse tells us that even a little advancement, a small daily commitment to doing what is right, act as a radar. alerting you to danger before they become catastrophes. So, how do you actually apply this? You're not a monk, you are a CEO. You have a payroll that you want to basically meet for your employees. Here is your three-step strategy that you can actually use to operationalize this dharma. Number one, integrity audit. Once a week, ask yourself, are you doing this because it's the right thing for your customers and your long term vision, or because it is the path of the least resistance? If it is latter, you are deviating from your path. Number two, protect a small win. Don't dismiss the small ethical wins. Did you treat a junior employee with respect today? That's your dharma. Did you correct a minor error in a report that no one would have noticed? That's your dharma. There are small advancements that build your resilience. And lastly, long term horizon. When making a decision, extend your time horizon. If you make the decision, will it still hold up 10 years down the line? If the answer is no, you are inviting danger. If the answer is yes, you are building a legacy. The market changes, technology become obsolete, your competitors will innovate, pivot, and potentially disrupt you. But one thing that cannot replicate is the weight of the company that is grounded in its purpose. So Bhagavad Gita reminds us that we are not just running companies, we are building legacies. And a legacy is only as strong as the integrity with which it was built. So stop worrying about whether your purpose is efficient enough. Stop measuring your soul by this quarter's ROI. Start doing the work. Build the foundation, because as the text says, your effort will never go waste, and it will be the very thing that saves you when the market turns against you. My name is CK, and if you're ready to lead with a new level of clarity, I want to hear from you. What is that one small advancements you are going to make this week to align your business with its true purpose? Drop this particular statement in the comments below, and I will catch you again very soon in the next one. Namaskar.
Hello, friends, and namaskaram. In an era of market volatility, global uncertainty, and the constant disruption, where does a CEO find their true strength? In order to answer this question, in this video, we dive into the profound wisdom found in Bhagavad Gita. Alright, we will discover how the concept of indestructible self, which cannot be burned by fire, cut by weapons, or withered by wind, can be applied to the strategic mindset for leaders. Very, very important insight from Bhagavad Gita. Don't go anywhere. Let's go and proceed our discussion further. Welcome once again. Today we are exploring the profound bridge between the ancient wisdom and the modern leadership. If you are an executive, founder, or a leader navigating the high pressure landscape of 2026, you know that resilience is not just a soft skill, it is the most critical asset. Often leadership advice focuses on the external tools, productivity hacks, AI integration, or the market strategies. But the Bhagavad Gita, specifically mentioned in chapter 2 and verse 23, invite us to look at the inner architecture of the resilience. In this verse, Bhagwan Krishna explains the nature of self to Arjun on the battlefield, providing a masterclass in emotional detachment and psychological stability. Let's dive into what this means for you in the boardroom and for all other leaders. So friends, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Alright, let's proceed further. The quote starts, "This self cannot be cut by weapon, nor burned by fire. It cannot be moistened by water, nor withered by wind." And the quote close. Such a simple verse, right? At first glance, this sounds like a metaphysical statement. But for the modern executive, it is the psychological blueprint
Krishna is teaching Arjun that his true identity, his core capacity for decision making and judgment, is independent of the external threats. In your professional life, you face weapons of criticism, fire of markets, disruption, floods of regulatory changes, and winds of economic volatility. The verse teaches us that our core composure must be distinct from those which are coming from the external pressures. So, how do you translate this into executive action for us, for modern leaders? Starting with separate identity from outcome. When a project fails, many leaders feel cut or burned. They, internalize the failure as a personal defeat. Gita teaches us to view professional outcome as external variable. Your value as a leader, your clarity, your integrity, your vision remains untouched even when the specific business initiative fails. This is the ultimate form of detachment. Next is the maintaining equanimity. Bhagavad Gita teaches, balance, remaining balance in success and failure. When you realize that your inner self is resilient, you stop reacting erratically to market noises. You move from state of reaction to the state of responses, which is acting with purpose. Next is the unburnable mindset. And you can think about, you can imagine an image that a leader is sitting in the boardroom, completely grounded, while chaos swirl are outside all around in the boardroom. What is the visualization of verse 23? You are in the stillness in the center of the storm. When you cultivate this inner stability, your team feels it. A resilient leader provides a safe harbor for their organization during turbulent times. The biggest obstacle to resilience is the ego. We often tether our resilience to our titles, our stock prices, or our reputation to again to some ego based item. But the verse implies that these are the transient things subject to fire, water, and wind. When you base your resilience on external achievements, you are brittle. When you base it on your inner values, what Gita calls you as your dharma, you become indestructible. The executive resilience, therefore, is not about hardening yourself like a wall. It's about understanding that your true source of strength is internal, and it is the ability to show up to the board during the board meeting with the same clarity after a massive success as you would after a major setback as well. So, basically, equanimity you need to maintain. So, how do you practice this tomorrow morning? First, the morning check-in. Before your first meeting, take 1 minute to reflect on this verse. Remind yourself, today external circumstances may fluctuate, but your ability to lead with clarity is not dependent on them. Next, neutral observation. During a crisis, pause. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Practice viewing the situation as an external event like fire or wind that you must navigate rather than something that defines your character. Third is outcome based detachment. Focus intensely on your action, which is your duty, and release your grip on specific results. You control the effort. The universe must force and human behavior control the final outcome. So, as you move through your week, remember the image we have discussed, the unwavering strength of the soul that cannot be harmed by the element of the world. Your organization needs more than just a strategy. It needs a leader who is unshakable, a leader who acts from a place of deep inner calm. And that is the lesson of chapter 2, verse 23. It is the path to becoming not just successful executive, but a truly resilient human being. Thank you for your time. Go forth with clarity and lead from your center. See you in the next one.
sun is not silent. It speaks in the burst of invisible thunder. For centuries, we have seen its flare and storm, but Parker Solar Probe has now tuned our ears to a deeper frequency. Hidden within the blazing corona, magnetic switchbacks snaps like a cosmic whisper, unleashing radio waves that ripple across the solar system. And these bursts are more than a whisper of plasma. They are sun's coded signals carrying secrets of its magnetic heart and warning of storm yet to come. In this revelation, Parker has transformed our star from blazing sphere into a storyteller. Its switchbacks composing a hidden symphony of light and sound. Let's find out more about this. The sun, our nearest star, has always been a restless giant. Its surface boiling with plasma, its atmosphere alive with storms. For centuries, astronauts have watched solar flares and coronal mass ejection ripple outward, sometimes striking Earth with a magnetic tempest. Yet beneath its familiar drama lies subtle mysteries, whisper of radio waves, flickers of magnet turbulence, and that only the most daring spacecraft can unveil. The Parker Solar Probe, humanity's closest emissary to the sun, has now peeled back another layer of its enigma, revealing hidden magnetic switchbacks that gives rise to solar radio bursts. So, radio bursts are sudden and outpouring of electromagnetic energies and streaming across space like invisible thunderclap. They are often triggered when the charged particle accelerate along the magnetic field lines, releasing energy in the form of radio waves. For decades, scientists knew these bursts existed, but their precise origin remained elusive. Were they born in the corona tangled loop? Did they emerge from the shock wave racing through the solar wind? But now Parker Solar Probe diving deep and close to the sun's surface has provided the most intimate clues yet. So if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us to determine reach of our channel. So going forward, as the probe skimmed through the solar atmosphere, its instruments detected abrupt revelation, abrupt uprising the magnetic field. Switchbacks like a king in the garden hose. These switchbacks are not gentle bend, but actually sharp zigzags, flipping the direction of the magnetic field from a brief moment before snapping back. Each switchback carries plasma along with it, accelerating particles and steering the turbulence. The new data suggests that these magnetic switchbacks are fertile ground for radio burst, miniature accelerator that hurl electrons into spiral, producing the radio signal that astronomers detect across the solar system. So these insight reshapes our understanding and space weather. Now going forward, the discovery is definitely profound. Its link with the two previously disconnected phenomena. On one hand, switchbacks were known as the oddities in the solar wind, puzzling features that hint at the chaotic dynamics near the sun. And on the other hand, radio bursts were catalogued as a distinct emissions useful for diagnosing the solar storm, but poorly understood in origin. The Parker finding weave them together, and the switchbacks are now not mere curiosities but engine of radio emission, shaping the very soundtrack of sun's activity. So radio bursts are not just academic curiosity, as we have already mentioned. They are interface or with the communication, navigation system, even the spacecraft operations. By tracing them back to the magnetic switchbacks, scientists gain predictive power. If switchbacks can be mapped and modeled, then the radio burst and the storm they create can be anticipated with a greater accuracy. So in essence, Parker has given us a new diagnostic tool, a way to listen to the sun's magnetic heartbeat and foresee its disruptive pulse. The implication extend beyond Earth. Radio bursts ripple through the heliosphere and the vast bubble of solar influence that envelops the planet. They may play a role for accelerating cosmic rays, shaping a planetary magneto atmosphere, and even the influencing the chemistry of atmosphere. So for Mars, with its magnetic shield, such burst could be particularly consequential and steering its upper atmosphere and affecting its future. Human explorer, and that is a good info data for the human explorer and the astronauts. For distinct spacecraft, understanding radio burst is vital for shielding electronics and maintaining communication link. And this is also a poetic dimension to its discovery. The sun, often imagined as a blazing sphere of light, now reveals itself as a symphony of invisible signals. Its magnetic field twists and snaps like violin strings, producing radio notes that echo across the space. So Parker's solar probe, braving the furnace of Corona, has become our ear pressing against the star, catching whispers that were once lost in the cosmic din. Each switchback is a stanza, each burst is a refrain, and composing a hidden music of the sun. So looking ahead, scientists will combine Parker's data with observation from other missions such as Solar Orbiter to build a full picture. Together, these spacecraft will triangulate the origin of burst and map the geometry of switchbacks and refine model of solar wind. So the ultimate goal is not to understand the sun, but to live safely within its influence. As humanity ventures deeper into space, towards the moon, Mars, and beyond, predicting solar radio burst will be essential as a forecasting storms on the earth. So in a grand narrative of exploration, Parker's discovery is reminder that even the familiar star hold secret. The sun, which has shining upon the earth for billions of years, is still teaching us how its magnetic heart beats. And hidden switchbacks, once invisible, now stands revealed as an architect of radio storm. And with each revelation, we drew closer to mastering the cosmic weather that shapes our destiny among the stars. So in the end, Parker's solar probe has shown us that the sun is not just a blazing sphere of light, but a restless storyteller weaving its tale through the magnetic switchbacks and radio burst. Each hidden kink in this field is a spark of revelation. Each burst a message carried across the solar system. By decoding these signals, we are not only learning to predict the storm that shapes our cosmic environment, but also hearing for the first time the sun's secret voice, The discovery reminds us that even the most familiar star still holds mysteries awaiting to be unveiled, and with every orbit, Tapaka brings us closer to understanding the rhythm of our star's eternal symphony. So, for today, we have come to the end. Magnetic strings and cosmic echoes. That's what is very amazing and very kind of good to really know more about it. So thanks for watching. Please please like and subscribe our channel. See you in the next one. But before we end, few words from our affiliate partner.
Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video.
हेलो दोस्तों, नमस्कार। हम सब जानते हैं कि जो मार्केट की अनिश्चितता है, जो कभी भी स्टेबल नहीं रहता है, और बहुत सारी चीज़ें होती हैं जो बिल्कुल अनस्टेबल रहती हैं मार्केट में, जैसे कि आपके डिजिटल डिसरप्शन जो हो रहा है, और कभी कभी ऐसा होता है कि गवर्नमेंट कभी नई पॉलिसीज़ लेके आती है। तो ऐसे बदलते हुए एनवायरनमेंट के अंदर एक महान सीईओ और एक अच्छा नेतृत्व वाला सीईओ में डिफरेंस क्या है? क्या ये सिर्फ स्ट्रेटजी है या लीडरशिप रेजिलियंस है? ये एक बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन है। इस क्वेश्चन का आंसर ढूंढने के लिए हम भगवत गीता का सहायता लेंगे और ये जानेंगे कि हमारी लीडरशिप को कैसे हम इतना स्ट्रांग बना दें कि वो बिल्कुल अनचेंजिंग सेल्फ की तरह और एक सिद्धांत की तरह सामने आए, और कोई भी लीडर अगर इस चीज़ को फॉलो करे तो कुछ भी हो जाए, किस तरह का भी मार्केट वॉलेटिलिटी हो जाए, लेकिन लीडरशिप पे कोई असर नहीं पड़ेगा। ये जानिए कैसे होगा। चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं। देखिए दोस्तों, जो मार्केट का जो नॉइज होता है कभी नहीं रुकता। जो शोरगुल होता है वो कभी नहीं रुकता है। ये शोरगुल क्या होता है? जैसे कि क्वार्टरली प्रोजेक्शंस होते हैं, इसमें प्रोजेक्शन कभी ऊपर होते हैं कभी नीचे होते हैं। कॉम्पिटिटर डिसरप्टिवनेस होती है। कॉम्पिटिटर अपने प्रोडक्ट को कभी अच्छा करता है या अपने वैल्यूज को अच्छा करता है। कभी कभी सप्लाई चेन में फ्रैक्चर्स हो जाते हैं, और कभी कभी बोर्ड रूम में बहुत अलग तरीके के प्रेशर होते हैं, पॉलिटिकल और डिफरेंट तरीके के प्रेशर हो जाते हैं। ये एक ना रुकने वाला नोटिफिकेशन का शोर है जो हर सीईओ को सुनना पड़ता है, और इस जो नोटिफिकेशन है या नॉलेज है या इंफॉर्मेशन है, मार्केट रियलिटी जिसको हम बोलते हैं, इससे हमेशा उसको जो सीईओ है उसके दिमाग में ये रहता है, इनपुट रहता है, और उससे वो ड्राइव होता है। मतलब अगर ये इनपुट ना हो तो सीईओ को लगता है कि मुझे कुछ पता ही नहीं है मार्केट रियलिटी के बारे में, तो मैं ड्राइव नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ अपने स्ट्रेटेजी को। ये एक बहुत ही हाई फ्रिक्वेंसी हम की तरह महसूस होता है जो सीईओज होते हैं जो इस इनपुट को लेते हैं। लेकिन अगर मैं आपसे बोलूं कि इस ऐसा करने के बजाय, हाइपर विजिलेंट होने के बजाय, अगर आपको इस शोर से दूर होके फिर स्ट्रेटेजिक डिसीजन लेने का मौका मिले, तो क्या आपको लगेगा कि ये एक अच्छा तरीका है, या आपको लगेगा कि इससे हम
आगे जा सकते हैं और इस शोर से दूर होके हम डिटैच होके हम डिसीजंस लें तो हमारे लिए ज़्यादा फायदेमंद रहेगा। तो इसी पॉइंट को आज हम डिस्कस करेंगे और हम डिस्कस करेंगे, इस क्वेश्चन का आंसर ढूंढेंगे भगवत गीता के चैप्टर 2 वर्स 25 से, जिसमें बहुत ही प्रोफाउंड साइकोलॉजिकल फ्रेमवर्क की व्याख्या की गई है। एंड ये आज मॉडर्न सीईओ के ऊपर एकदम लागू होता है और ये एक मास्टर क्लास की तरह है जो एक एग्जीक्यूटिव स्टेबिलिटी की तरफ आपको ले जाता है अगर आप उसको फॉलो करें। तो दोस्तों, अगर आप यहाँ तक पहुंचे हैं तो आप हमें कृपया बताइए कि आप किस शहर से हमारा वीडियो देख रहे हैं और किस लैंग्वेज में हमारा वीडियो देखना पसंद करते हैं। चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं, हम इस श्लोक को पढ़ेंगे। अब श्लोक में ये कहा गया है कि अपने जो चीज़ आपकी इनविजिबल है या इनकंसीवेबल है या अनचेंजेबल है, अगर इसको हम जानते हैं तो इसके ऊपर हमें ज़्यादा शोक नहीं करना चाहिए। मतलब हिंदी में आपको थोड़ा सा कन्वर्ट करके बताया मैंने, ये कि संस्कृत में है ये। नाउ अब इसको हम अप्लाई करते हैं अपने बिजनेस लैंग्वेज में, बिजनेस कॉन्टेक्स्ट के अंदर। इसमें क्या होता है कि जो हम बॉडी जिसकी हम बात कर रहे हैं, जो एक फ्रिजाइल है, इसके अंदर बहुत सारे बॉडी मतलब कि आपका जो बिजनेस का जो शोर जो आ रहा है, जैसे कि पीएल एंड स्टेटमेंट है जो फ्लक्चुएट करता रहता है, स्टॉक प्राइजेस है जो हमेशा फ्लक्चुएट करते रहते हैं, ऑफिस स्पेस है, कभी ऑफिस आपको बढ़ाना पड़ता है, कभी आपको कम करना पड़ता है, प्रोडक्ट लॉन्चेस होते हैं, कभी कभी उनमें गड़बड़ हो जाती है, नए प्रोडक्ट लॉन्चेस होते हैं, एम्प्लॉय टर्नओवर भी होता है जो कभी कभी आपकी कंपनी को या आपको आपके लिए मुश्किल पैदा कर सकता है। लेकिन गीता के अनुसार इसको बॉडी कहा गया है क्योंकि बॉडी एक नश्वर है, ये खत्म हो जाती है। तो ये इससे इक्वेट किया गया है कि जो बॉडी है वो तो टेम्परेरी है, तो इसको आप परमानेंट कैसे मान सकते हैं? जो मार्केट जो नॉलेज है इसको आप कैसे ये मान सकते हैं कि यही एकदम सच है, राइट? तो इससे ये बोलते हैं भगवान कृष्ण अर्जुन को ये बोलते हैं कि आप जो नश्वर चीज है, जो परमानेंट नहीं है, उसके ऊपर शोक क्यों करते हैं? तो इसी तरह से अगर आज की जो सीईओज हैं, जो मार्केट नॉलेज है, शेयर प्राइजेस है, प्रोडक्ट लॉन्चेस है, इसके ऊपर आप क्यों उतना ध्यान देते हैं? अगर इसको ना ध्यान देके बेसिक्स पे ध्यान देंगे तो हो सकता है आपके डिसीजंस अलग तरीके के आए और लॉन्ग टर्म को ध्यान में रखते हुए आए। तो एक तो ये बात होगी। दूसरा ये है कि मोस्ट सीईओज जो हैं, 100% ऑफ द सीईओज वो इसी चीज को देखते हैं, वो लॉन्ग टर्म नहीं देखते, वो देखते हैं कि मार्केट नॉलेज क्या चल रही है, शेयर प्राइस क्या चल रहा है, इस क्वार्टर में क्या होने वाला है। तो उससे क्या होता है कि आपका जो डिसीजंस है दे आर वेरी वेरी नीजर रिएक्शन के हिसाब से होते हैं और जो आपको मार्केट बता रहा है उसी तरह से आप अपने डिसीजंस लेते हैं। अगर मार्केट आपको बता रहा है कि आप फ्लॉप होने वाले हैं तो आप हाथ पैर मारने लग जाते हैं और अपने आप को भूल जाते हैं। आप ये नहीं समझ पाते कि हमारे अंदर कितनी क्षमता है और आप मार्केट आपको ही ड्राइव करने लगता है। मतलब मार्केट तो ड्राइव हो रहा है किसी भी तरीके से, लेकिन वो आपको भी ड्राइव करने लगता है, तो आप उसी के चपेट में आ जाते हैं। उससे क्या होता है? उससे ये होता है कि आपके जो डिसीजंस हैं वो गलत हो जाते हैं। अब आती है बात दूसरे शब्द की जो इस श्लोक में दिया गया है, उसका नाम है सेल्फ। सेल्फ का मतलब क्या है? सेल्फ का मतलब है कोर विजन, आपकी कंपनी का, आपका खुद का। और आपकी कंपनी बनी क्यों है? वाई बिहाइंड योर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन। आपकी कंपनी का काम क्या है? आपकी कंपनी का अनचेंजेबल मिशन क्या है? इनटेंजिबल आपकी स्ट्रेटेजी क्या है? चाहे क्वार्टर ग्रोथ 2% हो या 20%, लेकिन ऐसी क्या चीज है जो सेल्फ है, मतलब जो चेंज नहीं होती आपकी कंपनी में। तो उसको ध्यान ना देके आप मार्केट वाली जो पहले जो मार्केट का शोर है उसके ऊपर ध्यान देते हैं। इसको सेल्फ को केयर नहीं करते, लेकिन जो मार्केट से जो टेम्परेरी इंफॉर्मेशन आती है उस पे आप ज्यादा ध्यान देते हैं। तो ये जो चीज है, ये पहले तो गीता का जब हम श्लोक पढ़ते हैं तो पहले हमें समझना चाहिए कि हम किस चीज के बारे में बात करें। तो आज दो चीजों के बारे में बात हो रही है, एक है बॉडी, दूसरा है सेल्फ। बॉडी इज मार्केट नॉइज और सेल्फ इज योर स्ट्रेटेजी, आपका मिशन एक्सेट्रा। अब देखिए, कोई सर्जन है, जो एक सीईओ के समान है, कभी भी फियर से पैरालाइज नहीं होता है। मतलब जो पेशेंट पे के ऊपर जो वो काम कर रहे होते हैं, अपना उनके ऊपर उपचार या इलाज कर रहे होते हैं, तो कभी इतना इमोशनल नहीं होते हैं। क्यों? इसका मतलब यही है कि अगर वो इमोशनल हो जाएंगे तो वो पेशेंट की ठीक तरीके से इलाज नहीं कर पाएंगे। तो इसी तरीके से सीईओ इतना इमोशनल नहीं होना चाहिए मार्केट नॉलेज को लेकर। अपने बेसिक, अपनी सेल्फ के ऊपर ज़्यादा ध्यान देना चाहिए, और अपने जो स्ट्रेटजी है उसको ऑपरेशनलाइज करने के लिए उसको एक लॉन्ग टर्म स्ट्रेटजी बनानी चाहिए, जो बिल्कुल चेंज ना हो, कभी चेंज ना हो, अनचेंजेबल जिसको बोलते हैं। तो भगवान कृष्ण ने बताया कि आपकी स्ट्रेटजी, आपका मिशन, आपकी वैल्यूज बिल्कुल अनचेंजेबल होनी चाहिए। अब इन चीज़ों को हम करेंगे कैसे? अगर आपको आज ये करना हुआ तो ऑब्वियसली एक दिन में तो ये हो नहीं पाएगा। तो चार चीज़ें मैं अपनी तरफ से आपको बताता हूँ जो आपको प्रैक्टिस करनी है। पहला है सेल्फ ऑडिट। आप किसी भी डिसीजन, कोई भी डिसीजन लेने से पहले आप पहले इस सिचुएशन का ऑडिट कर लें। ऑडिट का मतलब ये है कि अगर मैं कोई डिसीजन लेने वाला हूँ या वाली हूँ, तो ये देख लें कि मैं डिसीजन जो ले रहा हूँ लॉन्ग टर्म को ध्यान में रख के ले रहा हूँ, या मैं जो मार्केट का नॉइज है, पैनिक होके, फियर के अंदर आके मैं इसको ले रहा हूँ। तो ये ऑडिट करना बहुत ज़रूरी है। आपको 1 मिनट, 5 मिनट, आधा घंटा, 1 घंटा, जितना भी आपको टाइम लगे, इस चीज़ का आप ऑडिट करें और देखें कि मैं शॉर्ट टर्म से इफेक्ट हो रहा हूँ क्या, या मैं लॉन्ग टर्म के को कंसिडर करते हुए इस पे काम कर रहा हूँ। नंबर 2 है प्रैक्टिस रेडिकल एक्सेप्टेंस। आपको ये एक्सेप्ट करना चाहिए कि जो अनचेंजेबल है मार्केट के अंदर, वो कभी चेंज नहीं हो सकता, उसको कोई भी हिला नहीं सकता है। उसके उसको कोई भी आ जाए, कितना भी ताकतवर आ जाए, जो अनचेंजेबल चीज़ें हैं उसको आप उसको आप चेंज नहीं कर सकते। तो आपके पावर में ही नहीं है, आपके और किसी के भी पावर में नहीं है। तो पहले उन चीज़ों को आपको समझना चाहिए, क्योंकि अगर आपको उस चीज़ की नॉलेज होगी कि ऐसी कौन सी चीज़ है जो बदली नहीं जा सकती, तो फिर आपके डिसीजंस बिल्कुल अलग तरीके से आएंगे और रिएक्टिव नहीं होंगे, फियरफुल नहीं होंगे आपके डिसीजंस। तीसरा जो सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट है वो है लीड फ्रॉम द कोर। जब आपके पहले 2 पॉइंट आपने अच्छी तरह कर लिया, आपने ऑडिट कर लिया और आपने ये समझ लिया कि मार्केट में कौन सी अनशेकेबल, अनचेंजेबल चीज़ें हैं, तो फिर आप लीड फ्रॉम द कोर अपने डिसीजंस जो होंगे अनशेकेबल सीईओज की तरह आप लेंगे, और फिर आपको किसी चीज़ की फिक्र नहीं रहेगी। आपके सारे डिसीजंस एकदम लॉन्ग टर्म बेसिस पे होंगे, जो आपके ग्रुप को, आपकी कंपनी को, आपको हमेशा पॉजिटिव डायरेक्शन में लेके जाएंगे, हमेशा रेवेन्यू ग्रोथ देंगे। कभी क्वार्टर ऊपर नीचे होगा, उससे आपको फ़र्क ही नहीं पड़ता है। तो ये आपका हो जाता है, एक बुलेट प्रूफ मैनेजर आप बन जाते हैं, और आप बिल्कुल, आपका जो नज़रिया है बात करने का, सोचने का, कंपनी को रन करने का, बिल्कुल बदल जाता है। तो ये जो 2 लाइनें हैं इस श्लोक में, कितना पावरफुल श्लोक है देखिए। अगर आप इसको प्रैक्टिस करें तो आप अनशेकेबल सीईओ बन सकते हैं। तो दोस्तों, अगर आपके पास कोई क्वेश्चन है, या आप और डिटेल में इसके बारे में जानना चाहते हैं, ज़रूर कमेंट करके बताएं। और ये भी बताएं कि आपकी कंपनी या आपका ग्रुप कोई क्राइसिस फेस कर रहा है, सो हम आपको उसमें हेल्प कर सकते हैं। गीता का जो ज्ञान है उसको यूज़ करके आपको हेल्प कर सकते हैं, हाउ डू यू मूव फॉरवर्ड। और आपको ये भी हेल्प कर सकते हैं कि टेम्परेरी क्या है, परमानेंट क्या है, इस चीज़ का आप आइडेंटिफिकेशन कर सकें। तो दोस्तों, थैंक यू फॉर वॉचिंग। मैं मिलता हूँ आपसे अगले वीडियो में जल्दी। लीड वेल, एंड आई विल सी यू अगेन इन द नेक्स्ट वन। Stop! Before you hit the delete channel button or give up on your next upload, you need to watch this. Most creators quit YouTube exactly 3 feet from the gold. They see flat lines in their analytics and assume they are failing. But in reality, they are simply in a ghost phase, the period where the algorithm tests your consistency and your skills are being sharpened for the big break. In this video, we dive deep into the psychology of the content creation and why 0 views might actually be your biggest competitive advantage. How? Let us discuss this further. You are checking your phone again. It's been 3 hours since you uploaded your latest video and the one you spent all weekend editing. You have refreshed the studio app 10 times and the number hasn't budged. 4 views, 2 of which were probably you. Uh, the thought starts creeping in. Is this even worth it? You see other creators blowing up overnight and you feel like you are shouting into a void. You are ready already to quit, but before you hit that delete channel button, I need you to understand one thing. You aren't failing. You are actually in the most important phase of your journey. Most creators quit exactly 3 feet from the goal. Today I'm going to show you why nobody is watching is actually your secret weapon, and why your biggest breakthrough is like hidden right behind the urge to give up. Let's dive in. But before, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. I would also know who's watching and who's not. Alright, let's proceed further. Let's address the elephant in the room, which is the algorithm. We talk about it like it's a sentient being that hates us. It doesn't, but it's a system built on trust. When you are a new creator or you're trying to pivot, you enter what I call the ghost phase. Think about it. Why would YouTube push your content to millions of people if you are only person you can stay consistent for only 2 weeks? The algorithm is testing two things: your competence and your consistency. During this ghost phase, you have a massive advantage that no big creator has, which is freedom to fail. When nobody is watching, you can experiment, you can find your voice, you can mess up the lighting, and you can make terrible jokes without hundreds and thousands of people judging you. This is your training ground. You are not being ignored, you are being incubated. This is the concept from the book Atomic Habits, called the plateau of latent potential. We expect progress to be in a straight line up. We think if I put in X amount of work, I should see X amount of views. But the growth on YouTube is exponential, not linear. You spend months, maybe years, working in the valley of disappointment, and this is where you are putting in the work, but the result aren't showing yet. You are building the foundation. It's like bamboo tree. It grows underground for 5 years, developing a massive root system, and then it shoots up 80 feet in 6 weeks. So if you quit during the root building phase, the tree will never grow. Every video you make into a flop is actually a root. It's a data point. It's a lesson. It's one step closer to the 80-foot breakthrough. So why do most creators quit right before they win? It's because of the psychological phenomena called cognitive friction. The effort required to make a video feels much higher than the reward of 10 views. To survive this, you have to shift your win condition. If your win condition is to get 1000 views, you get 50, you feel like as if you have lost it. You feel defeated. But if your win condition is like getting 1% better at color grading, or write a more compelling hook, or you do that, you have won already, right? I mean, if you do all of these core competencies, regardless of the view counts, don't you think so? Winning on YouTube is a war of attrition. The pros aren't necessarily the most talented people on the platform. They are the one who refuse to go away. They stayed in the game long enough for the luck to find them. Because on YouTube, luck is just where the preparation meets the long enough timeline. Now, as a disclaimer, I'm not saying that you should keep doing exactly the same thing if it is not working. There is a difference between quitting and pivoting. If you have made 50 videos and they all have 0 views, don't quit YouTube. Change your strategy. Maybe your thumbnails are weak. Maybe your intros are too slow. Use the silence to audit yourself. When nobody is watching, you have the lowest stakes possible to reinvent yourself. Don't you think so? So ask yourself, am I making content for me or am I making content that solves a problem or provide value for someone else? Once you align your passion with audience's need, the nobody watching problem start to disappear. The hardest part of YouTube isn't the editing or the SEO, it is the mental game. It is showing up on Tuesday morning to film a video when your last three uploads tanked. But remember this, every major creator you admire today, from Mr. Beast to MKBHD, had a period where they were talking, making videos, but generating zero interest, zero views. They felt exactly how you feel right now. The only difference between them and millions of abandoned channels is that they decided to post one more time. Your breakout video is already in your head. It's coming. It's going to come. Definitely. But you can't find it cannot find you if you weren't there to upload it, right? So don't quit. Just get 1% better today. So friends, what do you think? If you have any question or if you want to know more, please leave a comment below and I will see you again in the next one. Before I take your leave, a word about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with two microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video. नमस्कार दोस्तों, आप सभी का स्वागत है। आज शनिवार का दिन है और आप सबको पता होगा कि जो शनिवार का दिन होता है वो कर्म के स्वामी शनि जी को समर्पित होता है। तो आज हम अपना दिन शुरू करने से पहले हम भगवान की स्तुति करेंगे, भगवान शनि महाराज की हम वंदना करेंगे। और आप जैसे जानते हैं कि एक छोटा सा मंत्र हम पढ़ेंगे, इसको 11 दफ़ा करेंगे और 11 दफ़ा करने के लिए आप हमारे साथ जुड़ें और हम इस काउंटर का इस्तेमाल करते हैं हमेशा की तरह। आप जैसा मर्जी आप गिन सकते हैं, आप माला का इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं, आप अपने मन में भी गिन सकते हैं, लेकिन 11 दफ़ा करें अपना दिन शुरू करने से पहले। आज शनिवार को, हर शनिवार को आप शनि जी का ध्यान करें। चलिए हाथ जोड़ के नमन करते हैं और उनकी आराधना हम शुरू करते हैं। ओम शन शनश्चरे नमः। 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 ओम शन शनश्चर्ये नमः। ओम शन शनश्चर्ये नमः। ओम शन शनश्चर्ये नमः। तो दोस्तों 11 दफ़ा हमने आज भगवान शनि महाराज, जो कर्म के देवता होते हैं, आपके लाभ और आपके जो ट्रेजेक्टरी है उसके स्वामी शनि होते हैं। तो हमेशा अपना काम शुरू करने से पहले, स्पेशली शनिवार के दिन, भगवान की जरूर प्रार्थना कर लें। तो बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद हमारे साथ जुड़ने के लिए। आपका दिन शुभ हो। तब तक के लिए मैं आपसे इजाजत लेता हूं। अगले ही वीडियो में जल्दी ही मिलता हूं। कहीं मत जाइएगा। नमस्कार। Hello, friends, and namaskaram. In a landmark deal that reshapes the global AI landscape, Meta has officially partnered with Reliance Industries to build its first ever AI enabled data centers in India. Located in Jamnagar, Gujarat, this 168 megawatt facility is more than just infrastructure. It is a clear signal that India is rapidly becoming the backbone of the next generation of artificial intelligence. Let us explore this further. Hello everyone, my name is CK and welcome back to Akulmach Business. If you have been following the global tech landscape, you know the narrative has shifted. For years, the story of artificial intelligence was written almost exclusively in Silicon Valley. But today, the center of gravity is moving. Just day before yesterday, on June 10th, 2026, we saw a watershed movement. Meta has officially announced its first build to suit AI data center in India, located in Jamnagar, Gujarat, in partnership with Reliance Industries. We are talking about massive 168 megawatt facility that will eventually power some of the most advanced AI workloads on this planet. So friends, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Alright, but why India? Why is a global giant like Meta pouring such massive capital into our backyard? Today we are going to peel back the layers of this strategy. This isn't just about servers, it's about the intelligence era. Let's look at the logistics. Why Jamnagar? Reliance isn't building a warehouse, because usually all the big business of Reliance, which are bulk in nature, are all located in Jamnagar. So they are building a hyperscale campus. This facility isn't just powered by the grid; it is designed for sustainability, using renewable energy and desalinated seawater for cooling. Meta is covering the cost to ensure this just isn't just big; it is efficient. And look at the geography. Jamnagar sits right next to the key undersea cable landing station. Meta is connecting this facility to Project Waterworth, the world's longest subsea cable system. This allows them to tie India's digital infrastructure directly to their global nervous system. For Meta, India isn't just a market of 1.4 billion people anymore. It is becoming a compute hub. They are betting that India's infrastructure can handle the most complex AI reasoning models, and they are backing it with over a gigawatt of renewable energy agreement with partners like CleanMax. Think back to 2016. The conversation in India was about the cost of the data. We led a revolution that made the internet accessible for everyone. Mukesh Ambani said recently, India cannot afford to rent intelligence. Therefore, we will have to reduce the cost of intelligence as dramatically as we did with the cost of data. And that is the mission. Meta's partnership with Reliance and their joint venture in artificial intelligence is aimed at democratizing high-end AI tools. And what is that we are talking about here? We're talking about starting with business agents, automating customer services across WhatsApp, Messenger, Instagram for millions of small businesses. Number two, creator assistant, giving the massive Indian creator economy the tools to analyze performance and generate content in real time. Meta is betting that if they provide the tool for intelligence, the Indian market will build the solution on top of it. So why are they doing this now? Because the data is undeniably very important. A recent BCG report shows that India leads the world in workplace AI adoption. 97% of the Indian managers are using AI regularly. We aren't just consumers of technology, we are at its most enthusiastic implementers. When you combine our demography dividend, our massive technical talent pool, and now this world class infrastructure that Meta and Reliance are laying down, you got an ecosystem that is perfectly primed for a particular scaling. A global giant realized that if they want to win in AI, they don't just need to sell to India, they need to build in India. So, what does this mean for people like you and me? For the developers, for the business owners, and for the students watching this channel. It means the barriers to entry for AI innovation is collapsing. With the level of infrastructure, India is transitioning from service provider to global hub for AI driven transformation. We are no longer just outsourcing work, we are insourcing the intelligence revolution. As we see these data centers come online over the next 2 years, keep a close eye on the applications being built here. We are entering an era where your local business, your education system, your career will be powered by compute capacity that was previously unimaginable. So friends, once again, my name is CK and this is Akulmach Business. If you found this deep dive valuable, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel and let me know in the comments, do you think India will become the #1 global destination for AI development by 2030? Let us discuss it more, and I await your messages and opinions. See you in the next one.
In the heart of San Francisco, Luna AI dared to reimagine shaping with $100,000 gamble on AI managed retail store. Sleek algorithm promised efficiency, but the grand experiment hit a very human snag, that is staffing, and that exposed the limit of automation. What was meant to be a glimpse of the future quickly became a cautionary tale of tech colliding with reality. In San Francisco, the promise of an AI managed retail future took center stage when Luna AI unveiled its flagship store with $100,000 investment. The concept was bold, a retail space where the artificial intelligence would streamline operations, enhance customer experience, and reduce the reliance on traditional management structure. The launch drew attention from both tech enthusiasts and retail analysts, and they were eager to see how the automation could reshape the brick and mortar commerce. Yet, despite the futuristic vision, the store quickly encountered a very human problem: staffing issues. While AI managed inventory analytics and customer flow prediction, and day-to-day realities of staffing proved harder to automate. Scheduling conflicts, employee turnover, and the need for human oversight exposed the limitation of purely AI-driven model. The irony was striking. A store designed to minimize the human dependency found itself struggling precisely to become of it. So, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and which language you are watching this video. This will determine the reach of our channel. So, just put some comments about your city also. So now we were talking about the store, and the Luna AI experiment underscores a broader tension in the modern retain, and technology can optimize the process, but it cannot fully replace the adaptability, empathy, and the problem solving skill of human staff. For investors and entrepreneurs, the lesson is clear. The innovation must balance automation with human capital. So, Luna AI's venture may have stumbled, but it has sparked a vital conversation about the future of retail, where the AI and people coexist rather than compete. So, Luna AI store shows that even in the world run by algorithm, retail still need human touch. So Luna experiment in San Francisco was more than just a store. It was a test of how far automation can carry retail into future. Yet the staffing struggles revealed a truth that technology alone cannot erase the human presence and remains, and it also tells us that humans interventions, human presence remains the backbone of customer experience. The venture may have flattered, but it is but it leaves behind a valuable lesson that the future of retail will not only to AI versus people, but AI working alongside with people. So we have come to the end. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe our channel. But before we go, we have a few words from our affiliate partner.
Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video.
Twilight chambers of bat caves. Science listens to the whispers carried on wings. Each flutter is more than a movement. It is a messenger of hidden viral world evolving in silence, yet capable of reshaping human history. These caves are ecological crossroads where bats, viruses, and environment is intertwined in a delicate balance. Deep inside the humid darkness of Bat Cave, science finds a living lab where the ecology, virology, and human destiny intersects. Bats, with their extraordinary diversity and a global distribution, are reservoir of countless viruses, many harmless within their host, but some with the potential to leap across the species boundaries. The study of virus ecology in these caves is not simply an exercise in curiosity. It is a frontline defense against the next pandemic. Researchers entering these caves are greeted by a symphony of wings and echoes, but beneath the spectacle lies a complex web of interactions. Viruses circulate among bat population through social grooming, shared routes, and feeding habits. Each colony becomes a microcosm of viral exchange, and where the genetic material mutates, recombines, and occasionally acquired the traits that makes cross-species infection possible. By observing these dynamics, scientists gained predictive insight into zoonotic spillover, the moment when the pathogen jumps from animals to humans. And these recent fieldwork has revealed that spillover risk is not random. It is shaped by ecological pressures, food scarcity, or maybe driving bats closer to human settlement, seasonal migration, concentration of the population, and environmental stress, weakening the immune defenses. So in these caves, they're near agricultural zone, bats often we find them in fruit orchids and leaving salivas, droppings that can actually contaminate the produce. So such ecological bridges create pathways for virus to escape from their natural host. So if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us in determining the reach of our channel. So moving forward on this interesting topic, the bat cave thus become a metaphor for a porous boundary between wilder habitat and the civilization. By squeezing viral genomes and collecting them from the salivas and other material which is like droppings, scientists can map evolutionary trajectories, and identifying which strain show sign of adapting to mammalian cells beyond bats. So these molecular fingerprints act as warning signals, allowing public health agencies to monitor the hot spots before outbreak occurs. So equally important are the behavioral observations. Like high definition footage of bat feeding, clustering and interacting with other species reveals how viral transmission is facilitated. So in one study, the camera captures bats feasting alongside with the primates and rodent, creating a shared ecological niche where the pathogen could easily cross species line. And such insight underscores that the spillover is not merely a biological event, but an ecological one woven into a fabric of shared habitat. The implication definitely ripple outward. So understand a virus ecology in bat's cave inform the predictive model that integrates climate change and deforestations and urban expansion, which is definitely on high at the moment. Now, as forests shrink, the caves are disturbed. Bats are forced into a closer contact with human, amplifying the risk. So by stimulating these scenarios, scientists can forecast where and when spillover is most likely and guiding surveillance and intervention strategies. They can work on that, these kind of strategies. Yet, the narratives is not one of the fear alone. So bats are vital pollinators, you know that, and insect controllers. So essential to definitely essential to ecosystem. Now when we demonize them and would be like counterproductive. So instead, the lesson from the virus ecology is balance. Protecting bat habitats reduce stress on population, thereby lowering the viral shedding and minimizing the human exposure. So conservation becomes a form of public health. So in a broader arc of science, the bat caves is a reminder that pandemic are ecological phenomena before they are they become actually a medical crisis. So by listening to these whispers of wings in the dark, humanity gains foresight into the invisible currents of viral evolution. The caves teaches us that the vigilance must be ecological and behavioral all at once. So, thus, the study of virus ecology is in the bat's cave is not confined to academic genres. It is a story of anticipation, resilience, and interconnectionness. Now, these insight helps predict zoonotics spillover risk, offering humanity a chance to act before the next leap occurs. So, in the shadow of the caves, science illuminates pathway to of prevention and turning potential catastrophe into knowledge and knowledge into preparedness. From the echoes in the dark to insight in the lab, the bat caves teaches vigilance. So, and protecting habitats, decoding viral patterns, and respecting the ecological balance are not just act of science; they are act of survival. Now, the bat cave, once seen as a mysterious refuge of night, now stands revealed or as a vital classroom for humanity. Now, within these shadows, viruses evolve, adapt, and remind us of the fragile thread that binds ecosystem together. So, by decoding these hidden exchanges, the scientists are not merely studying the bats; they are safeguarding the future of human health. The lesson is very clear. Pandemics are born at the intersection of ecology and society, and the prevention begins with the understanding. Protecting habitats, respecting biodiversity, and listening to the signals of nature are the act of foresight. So, in the quiet echoes of caves, we find both warning and wisdom. An urgent call to balance our relationship with the natural world before the next leap occurs. So, we would look forward your comments, what you think about this subject. And we have come to the end. Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe our channel. See you in the next one. But before we end this video, a few words from our affiliate partner.
Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters, and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video.
Hello friends, the big question that we want to address today is that is your mind working for you or against you? This is a very age-old question many people have tried to answer, but today we are going to take a deep dive into Bhagavad Gita. And friends, as you know, Bhagavad Gita is a very ancient document. It's a very ancient manuscript. However, ancient or not, it offers a timeless wisdom for the modern CEOs and entrepreneurs? And in fact, this particular question is beautifully answered in one of the verse which every modern CEO and entrepreneur must hear and see. So let us take the deep dive and try to answer this very profound question, which is about your mind. Let's go.
In the world of business, we are trained to analyze everything. We analyze market trends, competitor strategies, cash flow, and consumer behavior. We spend millions on business intelligence. But there is one piece of intelligence that most leaders completely ignore. And that is one thing that dictates every decision you make, every reaction you have under pressure, and ultimately legacy you leave behind. I'm talking about your mind, which is your mind as well as mine. Think about it. You can have the best strategy in the world, but if your mind is clouded by anxiety, ego, or fatigue, that strategy is worthless. Over 7,000 years ago, on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, a warrior prince named Arjun faced the ultimate leadership crisis. He was paralyzed by doubts. It was then that Bhagwan Krishna delivered a line that remains the most important psychological insight for any executive today. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, verse 6. It's the difference between a CEO who thrives and one who burns out. So friends, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will determine the reach of our channel. Alright, let's proceed further. For him who's conquered the mind is the best of the friend. But for one who has failed to do so, his very mind will be the greatest enemy. And this is a quote translated into English. This isn't just a spiritual talk. This is the high level operational reality. When your mind is conquered, it's like having a rogue employee in your C-suite. It creates imaginary problems, fixated on past failures, and reacts with anger when a deadline is missed. It is the voice that tells you to send that angry email at 2 a.m. It's an enemy because it works against your goals. When conquered, the mind becomes your most loyal chief of staff. It stays calm when the market crashes. It sees opportunities when others sees obstacles. It is disciplined, focused, and most importantly, it listens to you. Why is this so hard for leaders? As a CEO, your mind is constantly on. You are bombarded with Prakriti, which is the external material world, data, noise, opinions, and crisis. The Bhagavad Gita teaches that the mind, by its very nature, is flickering and turbulent. If you don't actively conquer it, it defaults to a state of reactive survival. The three traits of enemy mind is in business today can be summarized like this. First is impulsivity, making decision based on temporary emotions rather than long-term data. Next is ego attachment, caring more about being right than getting the right result. Third, mental fatigue, the inability to switch off, leading to decision fatigue, the silent killer of the companies. So when your mind is your enemy, you aren't leading your company, you are being led by your impulses. So how do we conquer it? Bhagwan Krishna doesn't suggest we suppress the mind or kill it. He says to win it over. So in Gita, the mind is often compared to the reins of the chariot. If the driver, which can be equated to your intellect, let go of the rein, the horses, which are your senses, so your senses run wild. So in the end, I will like to offer 3 strategic steps for the modern leaders using which they can actually implement this in their professional life. Step 1, observation. Basically the witness mind. Before you can control your mind, you must observe it. In your next board meeting, notice when your enemy mind start to get defensive. Don't act on it, just label it. That is my ego feeling threatened. This creates a gap between the impulse and the action. Step 2. Consistent practice. Krishna tells Arjun that the mind is conquered through abhyas, which is constant practice. For a CEO, this means mental discipline, whether it is meditation, deep work blocks, or structured reflections. You must train your mind like a muscle. Step 3. Detachment. This is the most misunderstood word in the business. Detachment doesn't mean you don't care. It means you are detached from the result. You're focused 100% on the process and the action. When you aren't terrified of the outcome, your enemy mind loses its power over you. Imagine two CEOs facing a 20% drop in their revenue. CEO A has an unconquered mind. They blame the team, stop sleeping, micromanage everyone, and project fear. The enemy mind is in charge and the company spirals out of control. Now let's go to CEO B. CEO B has conquered mind. They acknowledge the loss, remain calm, gather the team and ask, what is the most important logical next step now? They sleep 7 hours because they know tired mind is a weak mind. Their mind is their best friend, providing them with the resilience needed to pivot when the need arises. So, which one of these minds or the CEO you are? Do let me know. Bhagavad Gita chapter 6 verse 6 is a call to arms. Not a war against others, but a war against your own lower instincts. As a leader, your greatest asset isn't your bank balance or your intellectual property. It is the quality of your consciousness. Your challenge for the week, therefore, is next time when you feel stressed or angry, stop. Ask yourself, in this moment, is my mind being my friend or my enemy? If you want to lead a great company, you must first lead yourself. If you found this integration of ancient wisdom and modern leadership valuable, hit that like button, subscribe for more insights from Gita for the modern world. Conquer your mind and you will conquer the world. So friends, we have come to the end. Before I end this section, few words about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video.
Friends, we all know that the stars, when they run out of their fuel, explodes into a supernova, especially the kind of star which are much larger than sun. They have to be larger than sun in order to become a supernova. However, there are certain stars which don't simply explode, they turn into a hot blowtorch. And this is a very specific phenomena, and to understand this type of supernova we will take a deep dive into high energy astrophysics, and we will examine this phenomena which is known as hotter than hell, also known in scientific term as the fast blue optical transient, and also known as the blue death. What is this phenomena? Let us explore this further.
Friends, in the vacuum of space, color is a liar. We have been taught from childhood that the red means hot and the blue means cool. Think of your kitchen faucet. But in the realm of high energy astrophysics, the universe flipped the script. Red is the color of dying ember, and blue is the color of cosmic blowtorch. But most stars end their lives in a predictable fiery explosion we call supernova. They expand, they glow red or orange, and they fade over months. But recently we have discovered something that defies this particular rule. A class of explosion so fast, so bright, and so intensely blue that they have earned a terrifying nickname, which is fast blue optical transient, or FBOT. So we call them FBOTs. Today we are diving into the hotter than hell physics of blue stellar deaths. We aren't just talking about big explosions, we're talking about the most violent thermal events since the Big Bang. Well friends, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Alright, let's proceed further. To understand why a blue death is so significant, we have to talk about Wien displacement law. In simple terms, the hotter an object is, the shorter the wavelength of the light it emits. A standard supernova might reach temperature of 10,000 to 20,000 Kelvin. That put them firmly in the visible white to yellow range. But these blue transient, they are screaming at a temperature exceeding 40,000 Kelvin, and in some cases hitting hundreds of thousands of degrees in their initial movements. When a star dies blue, it is telling that the energy density is off the chart. It is not just emitting light, it is emitting high frequency, high energy photons that sit right on the edge of the ultraviolet and X-ray spectrum. The question is, what kind of star has enough fuel to die this spectacularly? You can't get a blue explosion from a boring star like our sun. For a hotter than hell exit, you need a Wolf-Rayet star. These are the heavyweight of the galaxy. Stars that started out at 20 or 30 times the mass of sun but has already blown off their outer layers of hydrogen. What is left is naked exposed core of helium, carbon and oxygen burning with a ferocity that is hard to visualize. Because they have lost their cushion of hydrogen, when the core collapses, there is nothing to slow down the shock wave. It is like an engine exploding without a hood. The energy hits the vacuum of space instantly. This lack of an outer envelope is the first ingredient in the recipe for the fast blue optical transient. For a long time, these were just theoretical. Then came a phenomenon known as AT2018 COW, which is cow, AT2018 cow. Astronomers affectionately called it the cow because of its random letter designation. But there was nothing gentle about it. The cow was 10 to 100 times brighter than the normal supernova, and it reached its peak brightness in just 3 days. A typical supernova takes weeks to ramp up. The cow didn't just explode, it flashed. What shocked scientists most was the blue signature. It stayed hot for far too long. According to the standard physics, it should have cooled down as the debris expanded. Instead, it was as if there was a central engine, a hidden furnace inside the wreckage, pumping out fresh energy and keeping the temperature at a blistering blue hot level. So, what is that central engine? Physicists currently have two main theories for how these blue deaths occur. Imagine the core collapse. It is so massive that it skips the explosion phase and goes straight into a black hole. As the rest of the star tries to fall into the black hole, it creates a massive traffic jam called accretion disk. This disk spins so fast and gets so hot, it launches a jet of plasma through the star's, whatever the star remains, and nearly at the speed of light. That jet is blue light we see. In this version, the core collapses into a magnetar, a neutron star with a magnetic field trillion times stronger than the Earth's, spinning 100 of time per second. This magnetic whirling injects a colossal amount of kinetic energy into the explosion, acting like a cosmic microwave that keeps the debris cloud at blue hot temperature. So why do we spend millions of dollars on these expensive telescopes to find these blue blips? Because they are the laboratories of the extreme. FPOTs allow us to watch the birth of black holes and magnetars in real time. Usually we find these objects millions of years after they were formed. With blue stellar death, we are seeing the first cry of a new celestial monster. They also act as the cosmic flashlights because they are so bright. They illuminate the gas and dust in distant galaxies, helping us map the cosmic web that holds the universe together. Every time we catch a blue flash, we are refining our understanding of how matter behaves under the most extreme gravity and heat possible. The universe is a violent place, but there is a strange beauty in its destruction. A blue stellar death is the ultimate paradox. A star that has run out of life yet shines with more intensity than billion suns combined. It's a final defiant scream across the vacuum. Next time, when you look up at a clear night sky, remember that twinkling white stars are just the beginning. Out there in the deep dark, something is turning blue, breaking the laws of physics and providing that something truly are hotter than hell. So, thanks for watching, thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this deep dive into physics of the cosmos, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Until next time, keep looking up. Before I go, a word about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with two microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video. Hello, friends. Welcome once again. The biggest question in the boardroom today is the CEO or the leadership burnout. And it's becoming a very big problem in the 21st century, especially in 2026. So, let me ask you, can ancient wisdom solve the 21st century burnout crisis? Therefore, in this video, we dive deep into Bhagavad Gita to uncover the secret weapon of the world's most effective CEOs, the inward gaze. While most leadership training focuses on the external strategy, the Gita teaches that the true power comes from the internal mastery. Let us explore this further. Friends, close your eyes for a second, but not that long because you got a company to run. Think about your morning. How many notifications did you get before you wake up, right? So as you waking up, you see so many notifications in your email, right? A market dip in Asia, a key hire resignation, a competitor's aggressive new acquisition. As a CEO, your mind is battlefield. You are expected to be most external person in the organization, watching the charts, the people, and the future as well. But what if I told you that the most successful leaders in history, the one who remain unshakable when the ship is sinking, don't look outward for their primary strategy. They actually look inwards. Today we are decoding 7,000-year-old blueprint for executive excellence. It comes from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 5, verse 28. It's verse about liberation, but for a modern leader, it's a manual for mental sovereignty. Let's look at the text of the verse 28, right? And the quote starts, shutting out all external sense objects, keeping the eye and vision concentrated between the two eyebrows, suspending the inward and outward breathing within the nostrils, and thus controlling the mind and senses and intelligence. The transcendental leader seeking liberation becomes free from desire, fear, and anger. Quote close. Well, friends, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Alright, moving on. At first glance, this sounds like a guide for a monk in a cave. But let's translate this into a CEO speak. Let's look at it again. Shutting your external sense object, which is equal to filtering out the noise. Data is useful, but noise is deadly. Next is vision between the eyebrows. Single pointed focus, eliminating shiny object syndrome. Next, suspending the breathing, regulating the nervous system. You cannot lead if your body is in a permanent state of fight or flight, right? Free from desire, free from anger. That is the next phrase. This is the definition of objective decision making. Why does CEO need an inward gaze? Because the biggest threat in your company isn't the competition. It is your own unprocessed reactivity. When the CEO reacts out of fear, they cut cost into too early and stifle innovation. When they react out of desire, they over leverage and chase vanity metrics. When they react out of anger, they destroy corporate culture. The inward gaze mentioned in Gita is about becoming witness. In business psychology, we call this metacognition. It is the ability to watch your thoughts without being hijacked by them. Imagine a board meeting where room is heated, everyone is shouting, and if your gaze is inward, you aren't caught in the emotional crossfire. You are observing the pattern. You are the eye of the storm. That is a secret weapon. It allows you to see the signal while everyone else is drowning in the noise. The verse specifically mentioned equalizing the inhalation and exhalation. What does a spiritual text care about breathing? Well, because your breath is the remote control of your brain. Many of us know this fact breathing is the only a process in the body which can be controlled by you, as well as it is involuntary as well. Even if you don't think about breathing, your body continues to breathe, right? So there is a fine line using which you can start controlling your mind. So it's a common knowledge. Now let's proceed further. Science tells us that when you are stressed, your breathing becomes shallow and rapid. This triggered the situation that most of us are, anxiety situation that most of us are suffering. The primitive part of the brain, which it controls this whole thing, is basically creating an environment of fear in your brain. You lose access to your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for complex strategy and empathy. The Gita was teaching biohacking long before the term even existed. By equalizing the breathing, you manually reset your nervous system. The boardroom application, how does it apply in the boardroom? Before you walk into a high stress negotiation, or before you hit that send button on a difficult email, you practice verse 28. You equalize the breathing. You move from state of threat to the state of resourcefulness. This is how you command a room without saying a word. And that is a true executive presence. The final part of the verse says this path leads to liberation. For a CEO, what is liberation? It is a freedom from being a slave to the stock price, slave to the ego, or even opinion of the industry. So Gita teaches a concept called Nishkam Karma, acting without attachment to the results. This doesn't mean you don't care about profits. It means you are so focused on the excellence of the process that you aren't paralyzed by the fear of the outcome. When you are free from the fear of the and desire, you can make hard decisions. You can pivot the company when it is unpopular. You can stand by your values when it is expensive. You are liberated from the need for external validation, which makes you one of the most dangerous and effective leader in the market. So how do you master this inward gaze? It's not about quitting your job to meditate. It's about integrating Gita into your workflow. And how you can do that? Starting with morning silence. Spend 5 minutes shutting out sense object. No phones, no email, just your breathing. Start thinking about your breathing process only for 5 minutes. All right. Next, 3 breathe rule. Before every meeting, equalize your inhalation and exhalation. Equal, right? Slow it down. Next, the mirror check. Ask yourself, am I moving towards the goal out of fear or out of purpose? Right? Mastering the inward gaze doesn't make you a passive leader at all. It makes you an unstoppable one. It transforms you from a CEO who is pushed by the world into a leadership role, or another person is who's actually shaping the world itself. Right? So it transforms that. Gita says that this is a way for the liberation for the leadership role. In the business world, we just call it the greatness. So friends, what do you think? If you have any questions or any comments, please leave them in the comment section below. Thanks for joining live. Thanks for watching. And if you found this leadership lesson valuable, subscribe for more ancient wisdom for the modern businesses. Now you can go lead from within. All right. So before we end this section, I'd like to speak few words about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video. Hello friends, did you know that NASA is officially moving beyond the chemical rockets? In this video, we dive deep into the revolutionary nuclear thermal propulsion (NTP) technology that is set to slash travel time to red planet. Imagine a future where Mars isn't a grueling 7 months journey but a weekend trip in comparison to everything we have known about the space exploration. Let us explore this further. So for 60 years, we have been stuck. Every time we look at Mars, we are staring at a 7 to 9 months commute between Earth and Mars. That isn't just a long time, it is dangerous time. Every day, every day in deep space is another day of the cosmic radiation, muscle atrophy, and the psychological toll of the isolation. But what if we could break that speed limit of space travel? What if we could treat the journey to the red planet not in months, not in years, but in few days, right? Like a weekend trip in comparison to the current tech. NASA has just officially crossed the Rubicon with the announcement of SR-1 Freedom and a roadmap of 2028. The era of chemical rocket is ending. Today we are looking at the nuclear engine that are finally turning science fiction into an interplanetary reality. So friends, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Alright, moving on. To understand the future, we have to look at why we cannot reach at this point in time, and currently why it is slow. Our best rockets today are chemical combustion. We all know that liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen. They are very powerful, but they are incredibly inefficient. Think of it like this. A chemical rocket is like a high performance dragster. It's a massive oomph at the start, but it burns through its fuel in minutes. Once you are in orbit, you are basically a glider. By switching to nuclear, we aren't just adding more fuel, we are doubling the energy we get out of every gram of the propellant. So how does a nuclear engine actually works? Unlike the nuclear power in a plant on Earth basically that makes electricity, a nuclear thermal rocket NTR is much more direct, and it has several components starting with core. We have a compact fission reactor using high assay low enriched uranium, right? And it then create energy, which then send it to the nozzle, etc. And therefore we have to talk about the propellant. We pump the liquid hydrogen through the white hot core reactor, and then it basically comes out of the other side at very high speed. So now we have to talk about expansion. In less than a second, the hydrogen goes from minus 420 degrees Fahrenheit to 5000 degrees Fahrenheit, which then creates a huge thrust. So now let's talk about this thrust. The superheated gas screams out of the nozzle at a speed no chemical fire could ever reach. This is the holy grail of the propulsion. It gives us the high thrust of a rocket with a very long-term efficiency of an electric drive. We are currently in the pivotal year. As of April 2026, the design is right now on the drawing table. However, there is a roadmap, and that is June 2026. The final hardware development begins, and the mission will be SR1. It's a design as a nuclear electric hybrid. It uses the reactor to generate massive amount of electricity, powering high efficiency thruster to basically increase the speed. And it can run for months. It can go for very long time. And what is the goal? The goal is a direct mass mission capability by 2028. This isn't just a lab experiment anymore. We are building the flight hardware right now. So when we say weekend trip, we are talking about relative transit time. By cutting the journey to Mars from 250 days down to 100 or even 60 days, we solve the two biggest threats to human life. Number one is radiation. Less time spent in the void, which is open space, lower the dose of the solar particles or any cosmic radiation. Number two is the abort capability. Nuclear engines allow us to turn around or change course. Well, in a chemical rocket, once you are on your path, you are committed. Nuclear gives the pilot a steering wheel. Our multi-planetary future, which is to the stars, will have, will always remain a dream if we do not have faster mode of transport. We just don't have the engine to reach them. Why, right? So if we want to go to other worlds, other stars, we need faster mode of transport. So with the breakthrough that we are going to see in 2026, the gap between Earth and Mars is finally closing. We are no longer limited by how much fire we can make. We are now limited only by our ambition to explore. So friends, we have come to the end of our discussion today. My name is CK and you are watching Akulmach. And if you want to stay on the cutting edge of the Artemis era and the nuclear revolution, hit that subscribe button, and the future is arriving faster than you think. So before I go, a word about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with two microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video.
Friends, we all know that the stars, when they run out of their fuel, explodes into a supernova, especially the kind of star which are much larger than sun. They have to be larger than sun in order to become a supernova. However, there are certain stars which don't simply explode, they turn into a hot blowtorch. And this is a very specific phenomena, and to understand this type of supernova we will take a deep dive into high energy astrophysics, and we will examine this phenomena which is known as hotter than hell, also known in scientific term as the fast blue optical transient, and also known as the blue death. What is this phenomena? Let us explore this further.
Friends, in the vacuum of space, color is a liar. We have been taught from childhood that the red means hot and the blue means cool. Think of your kitchen faucet. But in the realm of high energy astrophysics, the universe flipped the script. Red is the color of dying ember, and blue is the color of cosmic blowtorch. But most stars end their lives in a predictable fiery explosion we call supernova. They expand, they glow red or orange, and they fade over months. But recently we have discovered something that defies this particular rule. A class of explosion so fast, so bright, and so intensely blue that they have earned a terrifying nickname, which is fast blue optical transient, or FBOT. So we call them FBOTs. Today we are diving into the hotter than hell physics of blue stellar deaths. We aren't just talking about big explosions, we're talking about the most violent thermal events since the Big Bang. Well friends, if you've reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Alright, let's proceed further. To understand why a blue death is so significant, we have to talk about Wien displacement law. In simple terms, the hotter an object is, the shorter the wavelength of the light it emits. A standard supernova might reach temperature of 10,000 to 20,000 Kelvin. That put them firmly in the visible white to yellow range. But these blue transient, they are screaming at a temperature exceeding 40,000 Kelvin, and in some cases hitting hundreds of thousands of degrees in their initial movements. When a star dies blue, it is telling that the energy density is off the chart. It is not just emitting light, it is emitting high frequency, high energy photons that sit right on the edge of the ultraviolet and X-ray spectrum. The question is, what kind of star has enough fuel to die this spectacularly? You can't get a blue explosion from a boring star like our sun. For a hotter than hell exit, you need a Wolf-Rayet star. These are the heavyweight of the galaxy. Stars that started out at 20 or 30 times the mass of sun, but has already blown off their outer layers of hydrogen. What is left is naked exposed core of helium, carbon and oxygen burning with a ferocity that is hard to visualize. Because they have lost their cushion of hydrogen, when the core collapses, there is nothing to slow down the shock wave. It is like an engine exploding without a hood. The energy hits the vacuum of space instantly. This lack of an outer envelope is the first ingredient in the recipe for the fast blue optical transient. For a long time, these were just theoretical. Then came a phenomenon known as AT2018 COW, which is cow, AT2018 cow. Astronomers affectionately called it the cow because of its random letter designation. But there was nothing gentle about it. The cow was 10 to 100 times brighter than the normal supernova, and it reached its peak brightness in just 3 days. A typical supernova takes weeks to ramp up. The cow didn't just explode, it flashed. What shocked scientists most was the blue signature. It stayed hot for far too long. According to the standard physics, it should have cooled down as the debris expanded. Instead, it was as if there was a central engine, a hidden furnace inside the wreckage, pumping out fresh energy and keeping the temperature at a blistering blue hot level. So, what is that central engine? Physicists currently have two main theories for how these blue deaths occur. Imagine the core collapse. It is so massive that it skips the explosion phase and goes straight into a black hole. As the rest of the star tries to fall into the black hole, it creates a massive traffic jam called accretion disk. This disk spins so fast and gets so hot, it launches a jet of plasma through the star's, whatever the star remains, and nearly at the speed of light. That jet is blue light we see. In this version, the core collapses into a magnetar, a neutron star with a magnetic field trillion times stronger than the Earth's, spinning hundred of time per second. This magnetic whirling injects a colossal amount of kinetic energy into the explosion, acting like a cosmic microwave that keeps the debris cloud at blue hot temperature. So why do we spend millions of dollars on these expensive telescopes to find these blue blips? Because they are the laboratories of the extreme. FPOTs allow us to watch the birth of black holes and magnetars in real time. Usually we find these objects millions of years after they were formed. With blue stellar death, we are seeing the first cry of a new celestial monster. They also act as the cosmic flashlights because they are so bright. They illuminate the gas and dust in distant galaxies, helping us map the cosmic web that holds the universe together. Every time we catch a blue flash, we are refining our understanding of how matter behaves under the most extreme gravity and heat possible. The universe is a violent place, but there is a strange beauty in its destruction. A blue stellar death is the ultimate paradox. A star that has run out of life yet shines with more intensity than billion suns combined. It's a final defiant scream across the vacuum. Next time, when you look up at a clear night sky, remember that twinkling white stars are just the beginning. Out there in the deep dark, something is turning blue, breaking the laws of physics and providing that something truly are hotter than hell. So, thanks for watching, thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this deep dive into physics of the cosmos, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Until next time, keep looking up. Before I go, a word about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with two microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video. Hello, friends. We all know that in today's volatile business landscape, a CEO must be more than just a strategist. They must be a vision bearer, a protector, an innovator, and a stabilizing force. Therefore, in this video, we decode the lessons learned from Bhagavad Gita and reveal the ultimate CEO matrix, a 12-point leadership framework hidden in plain sight for thousands of years. Let's go. Take a look at the modern C-suite. Today's CEO is expected to be visionary, futurist, a flawless operator, and a compassionate HR leader, a ruthless cost cutter, and an unshakable anchor during a crisis. We are told to look at Silicon Valley playbook, Ivy League case studies, and agile framework to survive. But what if the most comprehensive all-weather matrix for executive leadership wasn't written in a modern business school? What if it was mapped out thousands of years ago? So friends, welcome back. Today we are cracking open a timeless text that Bhagavad Gita talks about, specifically mentioned in chapter 9 verse 18. In this single verse, an incredible 12-point leadership framework is laid out. We call it an ultimate CEO matrix. Let's decode how these 12 ancient principles can completely redefine how you run your business today. So friends, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Alright, let's proceed further. Let's look at the text. The verse begins with the word, I am the goal. I am the supporter, right? As a CEO, your first and most foundational role is to be, the goal itself. In corporate terms, this is your North Star. If the CEO vision is blurry, the entire company stumbles in the dark. Being the goal means you don't just chase quarterly profits, you define the ultimate purpose of the enterprise. Why does your company exist? Where are your steering, and where are you taking the ship? You must embody that final destination. But a goal without infrastructure is just a pipe dream.